Welcome, misfits, to this episode of our Skeptic Bible Study, Balaam's Sacrifice, where tonight Balaam sacrifices many an animal, talks to God, then gives some awesome speeches. So come join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, for as we swing into the book of Numbers. Woohoo! I want to thank everyone for joining us out there on the intertubes. If you've recently got your vaccination or booster shot, now is your time to activate your 5G chip. Boop, boop, boop. Ah, I love it when it connects easily. Yeah, pain. This stream is run by cats, ladies and gentlemen. Always run by cats. If you're feeling fancy, I'm contractually obligated to finish that song. Don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe, and then hit that bell icon so you can get reminders to see our premieres or join our live streams. And all right, with that, we're going to hand it over to Gilbert so he can explain what we're about to read.
Some of you may be new to this abomination of a study. These schmucks begin by reading each episode's chapters along with the annotations on the side for funsies. The hosts are a tiny bit special, so don't mind if they butcher or replace everybody's name with something completely horrible or stupid. However, the gibberish that spews forth from their face holes will still be an attempt at reading this book from cover to cover, which I'm sure has tons of wisdom or an insight on whether we can or cannot put things up our butt. If you have time to waste screaming internet memes at random strangers, then join the Discord. Or scream at them personally at your YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch streams. Finally, don't forget to support these idiots doing more lame shenanigans at Amy Newman's Patreon page. All right, schmucks, back to you.
Thanks, Gilbert.
Thanks, Gilbert. That's right. You can find our Patreon page at patreon.com/Amy Newman, which helps us make even more fun content, including this sponsored housekeeping with awesome Patreons like The Other Gods Seem to Trigger the Abrahamic KO Champ.
Co-champ. Yay.
Yeah. And also Oz from
That Oz guy.
the Round Table and
That guy.
Yo,
Yeah.
that guy. And also, are you looking for better conversations? Are you looking
No, that's
for
why
a
they're here.
better non-believer community? That's true.
Yeah.
Well, you better head over to the Better event with tickets on sale now at tart.live.
Amy will be in a dunk tank.
That's right, baby.
I can't tell you what the liquid will be. That would violate
my.
YouTube terms of service.
Yes, we have a kissing booth in the morning, and that generates the tank in the evening. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're also sending love to Ian Davenport.
Ian!
Boom, 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 boom.
Our,
Who reminds me
one of our
probably
Aussie
forever.
Patreons.
Yes, not also a awesome Patreon, doom, 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 doom.
Yeah.
But he is basically, I should make him a mod on the Skeptic and Ranting Facebook page.
On the Facebook,
Woo!
yeah.
That's
They have
right,
mods on
baby.
Facebook.
I believe
Apparently
they
they do.
do. I believe you can have. I'll be honest with you. I got into a heated conversation on Facebook about basically is Christianity real?
Bullshit?
And it went into, well, not is Christianity real? How should I say? Evil. There we go. Evil.
Oh, evil.
That was the right word.
One of your anti-theist rants.
It was an anti-theist. It started out with just them saying that the skeptic position could be the agnostic theist. And while I guess you could be an agnostic theist and still a skeptic, I think you should just
Could be.
put that beam.
Make the leap.
We love our agnostic theists on here. But yes, but they're also a Christian. So they're an agnostic theist Christian. So it was an agnostic theist. There's a little bit of baggage if you're gonna, do the Old Testament like we're about to read tonight, or the Torah. Oh,
That thing right there.
really?
Word of God. Word of God.
The Word of God.
Jeebus himself. Yeah.
But also sending hearts to Ian Davenport, but
Thank you,
also a grumpy old, which is the sound we make when we generally hear creationist claims like a 6,000-year-old Earth.
6,000-year Earth, yeah. Bible is the inerrant, inspired, perfect Word of God. Yeah.
Exactly.
Claims like that. The Bible does not endorse slavery.
Of course. No, it's the good slavery, James. It's the time of cuddles. Except
keep your cat safe. We got Halloween coming up, so
that's right.
One of our viewers might want to sacrifice Moonlight to Satan.
No. Well,
even though there's only one guy, even though there's only one guy in the Bible who demands sacrifices be made to him, but that's not the devil, is it? No.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Yahweh has a large sacrifice count. Like, that is one of his main shticks. That's, if it was on his dating profile, it'd be like, I like many sacrifices. Be like,
That sounds like an interesting episode, Rachel, I will say. Maybe not up our alley, but it does sound, well, maybe not YouTube terms of service, but.
But also, and sending hearts to Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
And also, Diana Smith.
Diana Smith, thank you, Diana.
In one. Bum, 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 bum. Because the Bible. Because the Bible really likes treating women well.
Well, they should be well fed so that they can, conduct their motherly birthing duties, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you have your livestock and you have your women. Livestock and women.
And your women
and
probably spend
biblical.
about, since they're only living to be, well, outside of Genesis, they're only living to be about 30 to 35 years old. They'll probably spend about 90% of their life pregnant.
Well,
Beginning
these are the
around 14 or
sacrifices they
15,
make.
Until they have, 26 babies by the time they're 30, and then they can die.
Look, these are the sacrifices that we have to continue to make for Yahweh.
I guess you'll get it back and more in heaven, so it doesn't matter.
Yes. About damn time.
You get to praise him forever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah. And then you get to praise him some more.
And
but
more.
It's okay, because he'll brainwash you so that you love every minute of it. So you'll be fine.
Exactly. And honestly, it's not like it's forever. Wait.
No. Yeah.
Yes,
forever.
it is. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
But thank you, Diana Smith, and
thank you,
Pat Lowinger, woohoo! Who we are getting ready to bring on our special guest host with our special
coming up.
guest host.
It's coming up.
Coming up, baby. Da 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 da. We just trying to make all the stars align, but you could still watch episode 3 of Talk Skeptic to Me.
I'm sure they've already watched it.
Sacredness, archaeological look at sacredness. Woo,
by looking at an old church in Cornwall. Yes, love you, Pat.
And things like Stonehenge and why just sites become sacred in general. And a lot of times, the joke used to be, what was once a church became a mosque, and now it's a museum. Sometimes you just got to put a new piece of paint on
the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul.
Yeah. That's right, baby. Da-da-da.
Oh, you guys got more dancing tonight. You got it for free.
More dancing. That's right,
more
baby.
Dancing with Amy.
And I am always dancing for empirical evidence. In fact, me and Dale Pastel are along
body
with Jay,
shots for empirical evidence.
That's right, body shots.
For evidence. Because we like it. Evidence. We can't get enough of it. Yeah.
Which is the one thing that is off limits when we ask for evidence.
Oh, you mean you don't want a bunch of anecdotal evidence or
James,
old books?
How about a philosophical argument where I can define God into existence? Okay?
That's almost as good as an old book says so.
Almost. And speaking of, I believe we are getting, speaking of, that's what we're going to be doing tonight, but I believe we are getting a Debate Me Brah set up between Mark Reed, our very own, versus Biblical Account for the Win. I think that's his name.
Okay.
I heard him.
The guy who tried to define the definition of God. Is that him?
I've realized I have nicknames for almost everybody. He is like you ask him back. He
gives you the. What have you presented to refute the definition of my definition of the definition of God?
What is your response, guy?
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. What is
your response to my definition of God? Where I define my God into existence. Yes.
That's right, baby.
Definition.
And ontology may be the subject that they're debating. So who knows? The fun may be just around the corner in another Debate Me Brah. I wonder if he is a flood supporter. I would global flood supporter. I would assume so. So maybe
most likely
he could be number 1 in our setup against Jason and Pat for some flood.
That would also be a really good debate.
Science action.
I mean, If we couldn't get Nephilim Free or Jamie Russell or something like that.
That's right. They could, gentlemen, you could come on here. We need to get them to sign up too. Nephilim, Jamie
Come on,
used to
Neffy.
come on here. Not on the
Yeah.
sheets or the flags, but which is always good.
The chat.
He used to come on stream, so that's always nice. Theus, come one, come all. Just like I said, not on the flags.
Not on
But
the
thank you
spaghetti
so
monster.
much, Dale Pastel. That's right. Our Lord and Savior as we touch his noodly appendages.
15 feet long, by the way.
15 feet, baby. And also sending love to Dave Gar as we all kind of look at this thick earth and we're like, damn, I don't know if it's our fisheye eyes, but Earth's got curves. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's gotta be something because it's obviously flat, right? You look around. Did we lose Amy? Yeah, guys, I think we lost Amy. I'm sure though that she'll be right back on once she gets done handling her Earth there. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in to our Skeptic Bible Study, episode number 50, which is quite amazing that we've been doing it this far. We are charging through the book of Numbers. We're about 2/3 of the way through the book of Numbers. What's going on coming up next week is I will probably be out Monday and Tuesday. I'm having a, see, that's Amy back there. Yes. Having a minor medical procedure done on Monday. So pray to the flying spaghetti monster that everything goes good with that. You're back, Amy.
Welcome back. I'm sorry. It was that damn Illuminati. See, I started talking about the round
She's
Earth, and they took me down.
They did.
It could have been a
They didn't want you to, expose their secret.
That's right.
You're exposing
James,
them.
It is that damn lizard, space lizards? Lasers, space lasers.
Yes,
there
yes,
you
yes.
go. That's
Definitely.
the true. But also, Dave Gar. Woohoo!
Dave Gar, thanks,
Sending
Dave Gar.
love. And also the lead hyena of the pack,
Scott Duke.
Scott Duke. That's right, baby. It seems that, it's very easy for us to go dog kind, or they go dog kind and cat kind. But once you have to get to anything complex, it starts to break down, and the creationists start making models that's basically evolution. You're like,
the bullshit kind.
The bullshit kind. I always love those PR words. Da 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 da. So does a hyena or a cat? And sending love to Scott Duke.
Scott Duke, or the ferret, which is a cat snake. So
I like ferrets. They're like slinky.
I do. I like ferrets. We used to call them cat snakes at the pet shop.
Cat snakes.
Yeah.
I'm always interested if paradise comes or whatever. Are the carnivorous animals going to go back to being vegetarians?
I would assume that they would, because God says that the earth will be restored. We got one of our favorite Christians in chat. Hey, Don. How you doing tonight? Thanks for checking us out.
What's up, Don? And also, speaking of our Bible study, we have
got the spell ready.
Regos! Woohoo!
Regos coming right up.
Because God gets a little thespian, and he's like,
Thou
shalt be genocided, and I will like it.
But you had it coming anyway, so you pissed me off. You pissed me off. No, who pisses all you don't want to piss off the boss, Amy. You know how the boss gets when when people piss the boss off.
That's right.
People tend to
I should
die.
have my baseball bat.
Yeah, it's
Listen.
very important for our Bible study.
Because God's a little, he'll protect you, as long as you keep paying. He'll
Keep
make
giving
sure
him
nothing happens.
sweet, savory sacrifices.
That's right.
Keep
You
him
always
appeased.
know, by the way, you always know that you're the good guy when you have to sacrifice dead animals to you. You have to slit their throats.
And
Definitely.
then spray the blood around the altar ritualistically in a holy way, because he's a holy God. And so you slit the throat of the animal and you place the blood around the altar, and then it allows him to forgive you for killing somebody or raping or being an asshole.
Yeah.
But he couldn't forgive you unless you slaughtered that sheep and sprayed the blood around the altar exactly how he commands.
Exactly. The only time that you are truly doing good is when you're taking a rock or a knife to an animal and then drawing the blood on the altar.
Ritualistically, yeah.
Ritualistically. But somehow Satan is the evil one. Sure, buddy. Sure. But thank you,
he'll be back any day, Bubble. Thanks, Rejos.
What is up, Bubble? And last, but certainly not least, sending love to Rachel Holland.
As much use as that thing gets, it's probably going to start falling apart over there.
Oh, my. And James, what I really love about the Bible is all that consensual slavery. All that really, gathering heathens from around you. I just imagine good old sword, a good old net.
I mean, I guess it's better than killing them, right?
Oh, that's true. At least slaves are going to live. There you go.
I mean, for a little bit they'll live. They'll do a lot of work and then they'll die. But
that's right.
You'll get at least a good amount of work out of them.
True. Think of it as a works program and a workout program.
And if they want to volunteer, you can circumcise them, just cut a little bit off there, and then they can become they can join the clan.
I'm ready. You always, once again, know that you're dealing with science when the God is like, hey, could you take a sharp rock and just cut off the skin of infants?
Part of your penis? Yeah.
Da-da-da.
I really don't like my penises with that skin on them over the top. It looks like an elephant trunk. So I'm going to go ahead and need you guys to cut it off, okay? Because I forgot when I was intelligently designing human DNA, I forgot to take that piece of skin off. So I'm just going to go ahead and need you guys to do that for me.
And it doesn't matter if it's this in the Torah or the opposite gender mutilation from passages of the Hadith. These types of mentalities only come with, it rhymes with religion. Yeah.
Yeah, the eunuchs were castrated, which is even worse. You're right, yeah. But just because castration is worse doesn't mean ritual circumcision commanded by God is good. And yes, God equals square root. Amy brought out her grandpa.
Yes, this is grandpa because the creationists, remember, this is where they think that atheists think their ancestors come from, is that we came from rock soup. So a little bit more sophisticated. James, come on. It's not just rocks. It's like rocky soupy boo. Hi. This is when Moonlight wants to play.
I see a defreak. That's a interesting defense of slavery. Go ahead and come in. Bring that in the open mic if you want. Categories, you say?
And yes.
Yes, she did.
You may be thinking, what version of the Bible are we reading? Good question. That brings
The
us
true
to
one, the
our
real
categories.
one?
Before we begin, I'm going to start by going over the specific Bible we'll be reading, along with some helpful category marks. Categories, you say? Why, yes I do. You see, we're going to be reading from the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, an entire King James Bible lovingly fawned over by a skeptic who decided he would add his own notations. These are little flagpoles of sanity put in use to remind us that, hey, maybe slavery is evil, including categories like absurdity, injustice, and cruelty, but also a good amount of intolerance, contradictions, and conflicts with science or history. That doesn't mean it's not packed full of misogyny, false prophecy, and some questionable biblical family values. Now, we won't skip the good parts that the Bible has, only that these passages seem far fewer in number than any priest or pastor seems to suggest. So without further ado, won't you come join the Skeptic crew?
Oh, baby, we already came.
Woo-hoo! And with that, welcome everyone to our Skeptic Bible Study. And during our Skeptic Bible Studies, we will try to greet everyone on screen. However, if you want your specific thoughts read out loud, or at least shown, then feel free to tag James or myself in chat at Amy Newman. After the chapters, we will be switching into the open mic. If this is your first time to the series, then welcome. And on the previous episode,
Hi.
Balaam's ass. Hi, kitty. I think they are either high or something's going on. They're viewing hi, baby.
You have some catnip?
I guess so. Balaam's ass. We met Balaam, who was told by God, yes, baby, not to curse the Israelites, to follow some merry men and have a good old conversation with a donkey.
Did you follow the merry men, Amy?
I did. Oh, it was a good time. It was a... You
Yahweh
always know what
approved
those
time?
lead to. Yahweh approved time. And after a
You
good
get
old
together and
conversation
study
with a
Torah.
donkey. That's right.
At the yeshiva, Amy. At the yeshiva.
What's wrong, baby?
Saying, Yahweh, don't sacrifice me to Yahweh.
Sacrifice, I know. What's wrong, my little boy? Ooh.
Ryder, come on.
In this episode, Balaam sacrifices many an animal, but none here. No kitties harmed here in the making, or doggies. What is wrong, my little boy?
Yahweh's harmed? I mean...
Yahweh's harmed many animals, though, and seems to like the
smell.
The smell of blood, which is
burning flesh.
The smell of burning flesh.
Yahweh may be harmed during the making of this video because, as you'll know, in sacred scripture, it does say that God will not be mocked.
Exactly, which means that it would be silly for us to be like, hey, God, Oh man,
God.
that God.
What, did Amy tell God to sit on it and rotate? She wouldn't do that.
Do.
She did.
I am not sure if Jesus was real that he would be into, let's just say, feminine
Sitting up.
people.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he hung around with a lot of guys. He hung around in the men's club. That's all I'm saying.
That's
That's
the
what the story
bathhouse.
says. The bathhouse. And a lot of guys, too. Like, it wasn't like his two best buds. Like, he went out with all the guys. That's what
Like
the
a
story
baseball
says.
team full of guys.
Exactly. James, it was just lunch. Just dinner. It was nothing. Maybe a last dinner. You'll be fine. But yes.
More wine.
More wine. And with that, let us swing into the book of Numbers.
Yay.
Woohoo! Chapter 23, in fact, as we move through almost 2/3 of the Bible. Or of the book of Numbers, of the Bible. There's 66 books. We are ankle deep in the Bible, which
Number
is
4.
kind of exciting because it means that there's so much wisdom for us to learn about.
But we've only just scratched the surface of it so far.
That's right.
We really have, hey, Bible burner.
Just
We
saying.
really have so much more wisdom to get to.
As we read Balaam's first sacrifice and speech. And of course,
General Patton's speech.
That's right.
Just only one thing to get us started with. You got your squeegee ball there, scrunchy ball.
And now I normally have my squeegee ball. What's sticking in is actually my rubber ducky. So rubber ducky for the crazy funniness. And that's the only thing I think on here.
Did you mistake that ball again, Amy, as a fist fruit?
I will say I may have stuck that ball up somewhere.
You and those damn fist fruits.
Well, sometimes you just got to keep a little bit extra nutrition for the Tishin. Also, this is our first time. Holy moly.
That looks like,
James.
We need the Ophelius on here. It looks like some kind of strange mathematical symbol. And
that's right. It looks like, I hate to say it, there may be a contradiction in the Bible. I mean,
that can't be. The freak, would there be a contradiction in the Bible? Is that even possible?
I can't even imagine it, because this would be the first time we saw it, and I feel like if there were contradictions in the Bible,
Ken Hovind has been reading that book for 50-some years, and he's never found one. Oh, many. Well, thank you to Freak.
When I think of the epitome of morality, you know what I like to think of? I like to think of Ken Hovind.
The famous gravity experiment he conducted with his former wife.
Exactly.
He was trying knocking her to the ground to test whether gravity works or not.
Exactly. He was trying to prove flat earthers wrong. Anyway, Numbers chapter 23, Balaam's first sacrifice and speech. So at least we're getting 2 scoops. I always like it when they pack in the content. Like
2 scoops.
And Balaam and Balakatak, build me here 7 altars, not 6 or 8.
7 altars.
I want 7. And prepare me 7 oxen and 7 rams. Definitely
Las Vegas Rams.
Yeah, I get the feeling that the oxen and ram,
it's gonna be a bad day for them.
And Balak Hatak did as Balaam Bam had spoken. And Balak Hatak and Balaam Bam offered on every altar a Sandra Bullock. No! She's amazing! Why would you do this?
Kill her
And
7 times?
you're gonna kill
Clone
her
her
7
to kill
times?
her?
We have actually been growing fields of Sandra Bullocks.
Yes,
But
yes.
she's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. She's worth it.
Miscongeniality.
Exactly. A field of miscongenialities and of Dodge Rams. I think that's how that works. And Balaam Bam said unto Balakatak, stand by thy burnt offering. You're the one who ordered it. Well done. And I will go. I'm going to be extra about it.
Do it.
Para-adventure. Our favorite word.
Yes.
The Lord Bob will come to meet me in an alley.
I thought you were going to stop midway through that.
And
You forgot.
James, thank you
I
so
know.
much. And the Lord will come to meet me. Thank you. It's always, commas are important in everything that we do, and so is come.
Absolutely.
And whatsoever he sheweth, size 12, size 13, 14, 11, I will tell thee. And he went to a very high place. Like,
how high, Amy?
Very high. Oh. Whew.
How high was he?
It was right next to the stone gaze.
The most high.
The most high.
Okay.
Yes. High amount of THC. And Goddess met Balaam, and she said unto him, I have prepared 7 altars. I kind of have a thing with decorating. And I offered upon every altar, once again, the good guy, a Sandra Bullock and a Dodge Ram, which, if you think about it, is a pretty good sacrifice. And the Lord Bob put a word right in Bam's mouth.
He put it in his mouth?
I could give you many words to put in his mouth. And said, return. Go right back to Balakadak. And thus thou shalt speak. You're going to have some conversation. Balaam said to Bullock, stand by the burnt offering, and I'll go away. Maybe God will come to meet me. Wow, once again, first person God. I want you all to remember that. I'll tell you what he shows me, because that's kind of how he is. So Balaam went up to a high place. God met Balaam, and Balaam said to God, because we killed Aaron Ra a few chapters ago, I prepared 7 altars and offered a bullock and a ram on each of them. God put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, return to Bullock and say this to him. Awesome. Just the wisdom is packed into everything. And he returned on to me and was like, hi. And Eotio, he stood by his burnt sacrifice and was like, I really like medium, even medium rare. You can, but okay. Burnt, well, you killed the germs. He and the princesses of mobs. And he took up his parable. Oh, say something nice. Make my
something
eyes
nice.
tickle. Something to thank you. And said, Balakatak, the king of Mobabob hath brought me from my arm out of the mountains of the east side, saying, come. East side. Saying, you may come. Curse me.
That's very nice of you.
Yes, very nice of you. Thank you. Curse me, Jacob's ladder, and come defy Israel Shmishmael. Oh, this is getting higher. Getting hotter. Come defy Israel Shmishmael. How shall I curse? Where? On my tits? On my hair? Whom God hath not cursed? Or how shall I defy you? Whom the Lord Bob hath not defied or defiled, if you think about it. From the top of I'll take a scotch on the rocks, I see him. Oh, do you? And from the hills I behold him. The people
Behold.
shall dwell alone. Oh,
Why do
not
they have to
even
be alone?
Cup of grinder? We can hook something up. And shall not be recommended on Yelp among the nations. Or
Aw,
Reddit. One of those.
they got some bad reviews.
Got some bad reviews. Damn it. It's what you do when you invade and genocide people. It happens.
You're never gonna make everybody happy, you know.
You're never gonna make everybody happy. Do you know who we do make happy? Sending love to Soldier of Science. God equals the square root of one, -1. Da Freak, Farron Salis, and everyone out there.
Soldier was surprised to see us going early again.
That's right, baby. We are hitting as many time slots as we can. That's what she said? Probably not. Or he. We're always gender open here. But we're moving along. Whoever controls the dust controls Jacob's ladder and the number of the fourth part of Israel Shmishmael. Let me die. The death of the righteous. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Yeah, this God is known for righteous deaths. And let my last end be like this. I'm sorry, what? But how can I curse whom God hasn't cursed? I don't know. Say it out loud. How can I
try it?
God? Yeah, try it. Whom God hasn't defied. I see God from the hills and the top of the rocks. Really? Do you? Funny. When we ask for evidence, they're like, well, let's go to this like deistic kalam, or we can talk about
Well, could
anthropology.
he exist in one world? Well, then he has to exist in every world, even the real world.
James, do you have an almighty, all-knowing posterior in the sky? I know I do.
Is that what grounds everything that is possible?
Yes, the posterior in the sky grounds everything. It also grounds Gary Oak, who is just a random Pokemon trainer and has nothing to do with this conversation.
I thought you were going to say Gary Milne.
Gary Milne? I would never.
Yeah.
I just like Pokemon, like Ash Ketchum. And Ash Ketchum loves presuppositional apologetics. It's not talked about often in Pokemon. How shall I curse whom God hath not cursed? Yea, okay. Rocks. Who can count the dust? Jacob's ladder. All
rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Shoot.
Yeah, exactly. As we move along into Balaam Bomb's second sacrifice and speech, because he needs to give a speech after every sacrifice.
After those 7 bullocks, we need more bullocks, more rams.
I do. I feel like that's what grounds everything and reality and logic. If you think about it, Sandra Bullock. You would have to say that Sandra Bullock equals not Sandra Bullock, if you think about it.
Like an anti-Sandra Bullock, and when they combine, you get 2 Sandra Bullocks?
Yeah, it wouldn't be able to work. I don't even know how you would not have logic without Sandra Bullock. The Almighty.
Clearly, you couldn't, right?
That's right. You wouldn't be able to. But
could you even do 1 + 1 is 2 without her?
Yeah, that is my favorite thing. I wish people that practice anything like presuppositional apologetics just like practice that on Wendy's. Like just go to a McDonald's or like a Walgreens, a CVS. Go somewhere where you have to use logic and just try and get out of buying something. Well, how do you know that the Twix bar is 2 for $1? How do you know? What if we're just brains in vats?
Yeah.
And if you can get past any clerk, that's a good apologetic. Anything beyond that, back to the
I
drawing
think
board,
even
please.
some of my cashiers might have trouble with that.
Because it's so ridiculous how any type of logic comes from the mental gymnastics that they concoct in, I'm just going to say, a really hot syllogism. Oh my. Sometimes you just really need a really hot one. You need to get you need to get down and just get two premises and a syllogism. But then you
it's
need
so
to go.
useful.
That's the other thing. Please go test your syllogism, go scoop it up, and get it into a lab. Thank you.
But you see, the thing is, Amy, he's in another dimension that we don't have access to, so we can't go there and test him.
Exactly, James.
We can't
He's in a super
falsify
dimension.
him.
Just like a super fries. It's just
It's
a little
beyond
bit hard.
dimensions.
Dimensions.
Beyond time, even. Because as we all know, time is not even real anyway. So
that's right. Time is not. James, where does the time go? But time is not real. But also, Balaam's second sacrifice and speech. We kind of have two scoops here, where we
like two
have,
balls.
That's right. We have both some silliness going on. I get this also, a fantastic thing, programming rubber ducky. If you've ever had a hard time programming.
Rubber ducky, you're the one making fast
it's
time.
rubber ducky programming. That too. Whoppa, 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 whoppa. But we just need some silliness and some laughter. But then also, we also have a scoop. Sometimes you need to do a little violence.
I mean, it's amazing that we went through a whole segment there without any. But
yeah, exactly. It's amazing.
I mean, unless you consider violence towards Sandra Bullock's and Dodge Ram.
Well, I will say there's been a lot of cars and heels getting sacrificed. But oh my lordy, I hate to do this.
No, don't do it.
Is this a contradiction in the Bible? What the hell?
The freak already said there were none, so
exactly. So that's impossible.
That's that soldier of science guy coming up with that crap.
Yeah, it must be those damn atheists and skeptics.
Soldier of science coming up with like, oh, the Bible has contradictions in it. Maybe it's not true.
Would never. And honestly, this is our first time seeing a contradiction in a Bible. I feel like if there were contradictions in the Bible, we would have seen this before. You know what I mean?
You would think, right? I mean, we are 4 books in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's some liquid contradiction right there.
Books. And I will bring up, I've been thinking, this is a spoiler for possibly, I've been tempted to do a temporary, just 3 chapters of the Quran. Because I've been coming into a lot of apologetics that say you just need to read 1 chapter in the Quran and you will understand. And after reading the cow, which is, I believe, the 2nd chapter in the Quran, I am not impressed of it as
you want to do a hiatus on the Bible and
so not even a
segue.
hiatus. Like I just want to do 3 chapters, and then because I get in so many arguments that'll just say, listen, you just need to read it once. Read any chapter of anything. And so clearly, if we just do it like 1 time, I mean, even that.
I mean, if it only happens 1 time, are you still gay? I mean, is it?
My.
The questions we confront on here.
And I know a lot. They'll say you have to read it in Arabic, and we're gonna read it in the Skeptics annotated version. And I don't even want to do a full version because I want to do it in order, and I want to have Arid Ra, who runs a fantastic
Oh, he does an
Quran
amazing
study.
job.
But I just want to do this just like we just did ontology. But okay, let's move into Balaam's second sacrifice and speech.
Do it to me.
Do it to
Sacrifice me.
And Balakatak said unto Balaam Bam, what hast thou done unto me? Oh my, hold on.
There, now she can do it correctly.
Now we can do it correctly. And Balakabak said unto Balaam, what thou hast done unto me? I think I'm mixing like 3 accents at once right now. I took thee to the curse of mine enemies, and behold, behold. Oh my, that's bigger than I thought. You have to at that point you have to announce it every time you enter a room. Thou has blessed them down there.
Behold.
Behold. Pat says, I can't do it. Count me out of a Quran class. I wanted to scratch my eyes out, so I had to read selections of it a couple years ago. My only takeaway of the Quran so far is I've never read a book more triggered by unbelievers. Like, the book is just totally like, look, Jews, Christians, cool. Pay money. You're going to be fantastic. You friggin' unbelievers. Like, multiple times.
The worst people in the world.
Ugh. It's like, we get it. It's okay. That's us. And feel free to keep on tagging us, James and I.
Tag her.
Tag me at A.B. Newman. With all the wisdom that we're reading. And this is really what did it all in, is the Torah. If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have Christianity, we wouldn't have Islam, we wouldn't have Mormonism. Oh, my lordy. And the funny thing, the ironic thing is like 50% of Jews, probably more so in the United States, are like, God? What about the God? We just like lighting a menorah. We're like, yeah, but everyone else is, never mind.
But wait, would we have the Catholic Church? Would we still have kids being molested and
Probably not. Probably
no.
not.
No, probably not.
In fact, once again, all of that shit, fucking religion. Now, you don't need to just have it, but an institutionalized, as Bill Burr said, moving them around like whales at SeaWorld after that one whale
killed out the trainer, yeah.
Exactly. But no, it's fantastic. It gives people community. Like we were saying the other day, it's actually every good thing about religion almost has like a bittersweet edge.
With
we did
right
community last night where we talked about how it's great, at least, when you're in the in group, and then the moment you're in the out group, it's the exact opposite.
Right.
And it's night and day. And today I would like to talk about the fact that death is a terrible thing to take away. That when you do no longer have a fear of death, which I'm not even sure, is the Torah's fault. It's more than New Testament and the Quran for creating all of this freaking heaven and hell shit. And I'm pretty sure they stole it from the Zoantarians. Zoroastrian. So once again, religion. Because once you no longer fear death, you can do a lot of bad shit. Like, I'm glad that it allows you to have, when loved ones die, my heart goes out, because that is the hardest.
Yeah.
When someone dies, we are the one of the few species, there are a few species out there beyond humans that mourn the dead. And I think that's important. I think that is
Absolutely.
something that makes life worth living, is when we remember
We have
others.
strong, because we have such strong bonds and love and connection that we have with our friends and family and our loved ones, and it's tough to lose one of them.
Exactly. And so what we have to do is figure out a system of community, of friends and loved ones that can help deal with death naturally, so that we too can
rationally
pass on to the next generation for even more adventures, and the cycle will continue. And all right, we're reading Numbers chapter 23. If you just joined our Skeptic Bible Study, Sent in Love Farron. Yeah, basically.
Heaven and hell shit.
Heaven and hell.
You're always going to get amazing quotes here, but you expect nothing less from our Bible study. I know that.
Because it's the carrot and stick. They set it up in here with Adam and Eve. If there was no Adam and Eve story, like, really, you could skip almost everything. As long as you have Adam and Eve and the fall, you can get a hell and heaven system.
You get to the New Testament, yeah.
You get this forever curse, which, man, isn't that fantastic? I still
load of bullshit.
Yeah, it's a load of bullshit. Yeah, sins should never be passed down generations. Look, people do shitty things in life. You cannot blame your children for that.
Especially to begin the curse with two people who didn't even understand the concept of right and wrong. And then to hang a genocide of billions of people on their neck and say it's their fault when they didn't even know what the fuck they were really doing is just really, really shitty.
Yeah, it's bad parenting and shitty. Should have had his kids taken away.
Hey, if he just wanted to kill billions of people, if that's just what he wanted to do, okay, he could have done it. But to blame the only two people who didn't know anything in the story, like God knew what was going on, the devil knew what was going on, but these two humans, they didn't know shit. They didn't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
The metaphorical theist will say, look, this wasn't supposed to be taken literally. You're going through here word for word. Yeah. And it's
just means something went wrong and sin entered the world somehow.
And it's like, look, I understand that. I understand that a story shouldn't have to last 2,000 years old. I am not trying to judge our ancestors. Really not. Because this was the best way of transpiring who the people were at the time and getting a good timestamp for us thousands of years later. Who I do blame are the people who have cell phones and computers and then tell me the world is 6 days old. Like, one of these does not belong.
Basically. Almost.
Created in 6 days or whatever.
The
funny thing
6 days is closer to what they think than reality.
And that is what kills me, is they act like 6,000 is a lot of years. They're like, well,
Ken Hovind says that.
People can be made.
6,000 is old. What do you mean, young Earth? 6,000's old. I'm 60-some years old, and I'm getting old. I got all these, Abraham Lincoln, he lived 150 years ago. Can you believe that? Like,
And that is
yeah.
the crazy thing. We do squish history. As soon as things become history, we tend to just squish it all into one box. When, the scientific revolution was in
What
the
is that?
1800s. We were relying on philosophy up until 200,
I think
300 years ago.
yeah. I think they say Cleopatra was closer in time to the first Taco Bell than she was to when the pyramids were built. And that really does
Really?
put into, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't
Because she was
surprise me.
like, I don't know how long she was till the Taco Bell, but I guess it was less time than from when they were still building pyramids.
Because we just symbolize her with Egypt.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Egypt goes through different eons is those are for the history buffs, when really we should understand this. We should,
It's just our time, our
as lay
scale on
people.
time. Yeah, our
Exactly.
scale on time in the ancient past is very warped, like you say, because it's history. We just consign it all into one, like,
The 1800s
file. Yeah.
is not the one at 1000, AD
Right.
is not 3,500 years ago when this was being written.
Yeah.
And all right, Numbers chapter 23. It's super exciting. I can definitely see why the majority of Christians that everyone comes across reads this cover to cover. Don't you, James?
18 hours a day, Amy, as a matter of fact. 18 hours a day reading this book for months.
That's right, baby. And all right, and he answered and said, must I take heed to speak that which the Lord Bob put in my mouth? Oh, man. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Thank you, Yahweh. It's getting hot. And Balakatok said unto him, come, I pray thee with me unto another place. Well, at least you have permission. From hence thou mayest see them, thou shalt see to the shallow sea, but that the utmost part of them, and shalt not see them all, and curse me them from thence. I'm sorry, what? Balak
Well, you're
said
putting
to
that skull to work.
I
That
know,
skull is
baby.
working overtime here.
Come with me to another place, which sounds like the beginning to a Disney song, where you will
I was
see
just
some.
saying, that's like
Not all.
what Aladdin said to
Come with
Jasmine when they were
me
going on the carpet.
to another
Yeah.
place. See, exactly. Where you will see a wonderful land. But
Of
not
bullocks
all
being slaughtered.
bullocks being so. No! Not Miss Congeniality!
Yes, 7 of her being killed with Dodge Rams.
Damn it. They're so effective. But not all of the Israelites. You can curse them from there. Oh, good. And he brought her into the field of Zumwafadam.
Huh. The field of Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like I have at the
Topham.
local near me. To the top
Sex shop?
of exactly. To the top of Miss Piggy. And built 7 altars with the 7 altars. And offered a Sandra Bullock and a Dodge
Again.
Ram on
Okay.
every altar. Oh,
Every
my
motherfucking
lordy.
altar. That's like doing it
Mrs.
in every
Bullock,
room of the
run!
house.
Run!
You guys did it in every room in the house?
Also, once again, always the good guy when you know you're being sacrificed to at an altar.
Oh, yeah.
And he sent on to Balakapak, stand there by thy burnt offering, while I meet the Lord Bob yonder.
Oh, over there. Okay.
Okay. And the Lord Bob met Balaam and put lots of words right in his mouth. Oh my.
Is this
And
God going
said,
first person again?
I think so.
He met somebody. Okay.
I will say he puts a lot of things in people's mouths. I'm just going to go on a limb here.
He might be trying to break your record.
Oh my. That's right, baby.
You
And
give him a run for his money though, but he's catching up.
ha, ha, ha. And when he came to him, behold, he stood by his well-done burnt offering, and the princesses of Moab Shlohab with him. And Balakatak said unto him, What hath the Lord Balaam spoken? And he took up his parable. Oh, finally, we're getting a parable. And said,
Yay.
The dark night rises. Oh, you thought you were only a man. Rise up. Oh, something's rising up. Balakatak, and here hearken unto me. Come on. Bring
Hearken
rose
unto me.
petals. Thou son of Zippo's lighters. Oh my. Goddess is not a man, that he should lie, neither the Son of Man, that he should repent. I like this passage. We're going to go over this in a sec. Hath he said, and shall he not do it to it? Or hath he spoken, and shall not make it good? Oh, Balaam recited the parable that God told him. God isn't a man. Ah, look at that, Christians. So he doesn't lie.
He wasn't at that time. He
That
wasn't a
time,
man.
exactly. Yeah, needs to sacrifice a guy. That'll totally make it better. And he isn't the son of a man, so he doesn't repent. Oh, well. Doesn't repent? Well, he can... No. Send the hearts. Oh, he's just a douche. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, he's the mafia boss. He's the boss. Hey, you don't want to piss off the boss. You know how he gets when people piss him off. He likes to kill people, you know?
He gets in, like, moods.
Don't fuck with the boss.
Don't fuck with the boss. That's right. That's what the Virgin Mary said, baby. Yeah, by the way, Virgin Mary, I always find that concept a little bit funny because...
Mary, ever virgin. Because according to Catholic dogma, she was assumed body and spirit into heaven after the death of Jesus because
oh my,
she was a special saint.
Oh, is that what they're calling them?
Gay men.
Gay men. What's up, Roger?
Hey, Roger.
And we are going to say hi to everybody.
Got Farron out there, one of our Patreons.
Us at Amy Newman. And that's right, sending love out there to all our Patreons, all our mods, and all of our viewers like you. As we read Numbers chapter 23, God's not a man that he should lie. Don't you lie. Neither the Son of Man that he should repent hath he said, and shall he not do it, or hath spoken, and shall he not make it good? Oh, make it good, baby.
Did he do it good?
All night long.
He did it good.
Whew, that's right. I always love when the Bible gets into erotic mode. Sometimes you need Shakespeare. Sometimes you need to get that good old-fashioned girl dick, James. Anyway.
Bob Larson does all the damn time. He can't get enough girl dick.
That's right, at the commander level. Behold! I always like it when they say behold, too, because it really does seem like someone is just shouting.
Very theatrical.
Yeah, exactly. They got to be extra. I have received a commandment to bless, if you get what I mean. And he have blessed it all over. And I cannot.
But he got blessed.
Oh, baby, did he? Is that what they do in those booths? They get blessed, if you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not Catholic, so
Oh,
I can't
that's right.
speak to
We're going to
that.
have to find out. He hath not beheld antiquity in Jacob's ladder, neither hath he seen preservedness in Israel's Shmishmael. The Lord Bob, his goddess, is with him, and the shout of a queen is among them. So God
He's the
commanded
best
me to
queen.
bless, and God has blessed. I bet he is. I cannot undo it. And he hasn't seen Jacob do anything wrong or seen any perversiveness in Israel. God is with Israel, and the shout of a king is among the
Shemishmael.
Israelites. Shmishmael, exactly. Oh my goddess, we're going back to the minivan every time.
Yep.
Listen, goddess brought them out of Egypt, and he can put your ass back in there. Or back in New York. I'm so sorry.
Remind me who got him in Egypt to begin with?
Oh, yeah, it was kind of God.
He had that whole idea with the famine thing and Joseph getting sold into slavery to get him into Egypt so he could enslave them, and then he could rescue them later and demand they worship him.
But, James, picky. You're just looking at the logistics. You can't look at who got them in. You just got to look at who got them out.
Oh.
That's right. Will you start praying? Yeah, it's right. But I also love this sentence because it's ridiculous and it's not us making fun of the Bible. Like, I feel like I should just read it. Just read it as it is. Okay? This is really what it says in the Bible. God brought them out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn.
And unicorn, yes.
An unicorn. A unicorn.
I will agree with that. He has the strength of an unicorn.
I mean, how can you argue? I mean, when Christians, Jews, whoever wants to defend the Bible, and they're like, oh, what are you just talking about? That's just a mythological beast.
God is as real.
Unicorn?
He's as real as a unicorn.
Let's just.
Yeah, I will agree with that. He is as real as a unicorn.
No, I want to know what the interpretation of the apologetic is for this. Like how do you get out of this? It says unicorn. It doesn't paraphrase. It says freaking unicorn. Oh my Lord. Thank you, Bible.
Tell me, Amy, how much strength does a unicorn have?
I mean, apparently as strong as Santa Claus. And I guess unlimited. Or leprechauns is God equals square root -1. Gnomes. Who knows? Interdimensional beings.
The lizard people?
The lizard people. Though we know lizards are real. They're not lizard people.
Lizard people are, I guess they are more real.
Then again, horses are real. So
yeah.
We could go back and forth. I'm just going to take it in for 3, 2, 1. Okay, I've had enough
Commander Girl Dick.
For the fact that it literally says unicorns in the Bible. Moving on. Surely there is no 15-inch attachment against Jacob's
I am serious. Ladder. And don't call me Shirley.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Neither is there any deviation, if you get what I mean, against Israel Shmishmael. According to this time, it does not exist. It shall be said of Jacob's ladder and of Israel Shmishmael, what have a goddess wrought? Oh, baby, wrought everywhere, all night, all day.
All over.
All over. Behold! We get it. You don't have to shout. You don't have to be extra. He likes to do that.
He's doing it anyway.
He's doing it. The people shall rise up, if you get what I mean. As a
Again?
great lion. I know. Let me tell
Again
you.
for round 3? I mean, come on.
There's a lot of testosterone pumping through these people's veins. Shall rise up as a great lion, Simba, and lift up herself as a young lion. He shall not lie. Don't lie to me. RESPSTT. Down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. Wow, that escalated quickly. Wow. The people rise up as a lion and drink the blood of the slain. Okay.
Like the Celts.
We were just talking
They
about
drink
unicorns.
the blood of their dead.
Now we're talking about drinking the blood of the slain. Like,
Yep.
it was 3 seconds ago, it was sparkles and rainbows, and now we're drinking the blood of animals. But hey, Bible's got to do what the Bible's got to do.
Drink the blood of unicorns, hey.
Drink the blood of unicorns. That's probably where they all went. And Black Attack.
Starbucks had that unicorn frappuccino drink.
They did.
Maybe that's evidence of God.
I believe that actually goes in between the pumpkin spice and the the cinnamon sugar for the holidays, or the nutmeg. They have unicorn blood right in between. It's hard to get. You got to be there on that.
Evidence of God.
Evidence of God. Nonetheless, they're still saying on Fox News that there are not enough unicorn attacks, or any news station. Balaam's third sacrifice. Oh my Lord, we're having a third sacrifice. Round 3.
I mean, the first 2 were so great. I mean,
exactly. I feel like you can't just take 2 shots of a sacrifice. You really
God is having so much fun with this. God is just having so much fun with this. Why stop at 2?
I feel like
let me guess. So we got 7 more altars.
7 more altars. I know. But only just one little topic of silliness. Because,
that's it. Oh.
Because he's sacrificing again. Again. Can't get enough of those sacrifices. Balaam's got this shtick down. We haven't heard a lot from Moses, and Aaron's dead.
Yeah, he killed Aaron. Moses is, I guess, taking a break.
Yeah, sometimes you got to take a break. And what is up? Materialist Dan says, I only drink the blood of my enemies, and occasionally strawberry yoo-hoo. That's right. And Nick says, nothing worse when God gets bored, because he gets some True Blood. That's what happens.
I like some strawberry Nesquik. That was my favorite growing up. That was
That's right. Some people like Nesquik. Other people like unicorn blood. I want you guys to know, ladies and gentlemen, I am never going to let the fact that there were I didn't know there were real unicorns in the Bible.
There are multiple references to unicorns in the Bible.
Really?
It's almost an argument against evolution because they haven't found the unicorn fossils.
How can they give us shit? I'm sorry, I can't get over this. How can they give us shit that we bring up unicorns when there's a literal unicorn?
Over and over again in the Bible, yeah. Because they were believed to be real animals at the time. They were believed to be very rare, but still nonetheless real animals.
They taste like chicken. Anyway, Numbers chapter 23, Balaam's third sacrifice. Because what you gonna do but sacrifice more animals?
What you gonna do when they come for you, Balaam?
What they gonna do when they come for Sandra Bullock? Run! Get your heels, get a gun, and run. Do your hair later. Balaam's third sacrifice. And Balak attack said unto Balaam Bam, come.
Bam Bam. Too late.
Whoo! I pray thee, will you? That's so nice of you. It used to be the good old skeptic non-believer saying, you pray for me, we'll think for you. Sounds good. It'll be a good trade.
Or I beseech thee, peradventure.
Badum. I pray thee, I will bring thee onto another place. Almost sounds like the starting of a lyric. Take you to another place. It'll be magical and adventure. Peradventure. And it will please the goddess that thou mayest curse me if you let that pass the FCC censors them from thence. Cool. And Black Attack.
Nick out there. Hey, Nick.
That's right. Sending love. I was just in Nick's stream, even if it was just for the end. But I was there, and that's what counts,
Nick's
ladies and
fake
gentlemen.
stream,
being a cheerleader.
His fake stream in time, which according to our now we're told time is not real, so his stream is propaganda for the Timus.
That's true. You damn Timus. Time and time again.
In time, yeah.
What is up, pseudonym?
Hey, pseudonym.
Woohoo! That's right.
Oh, we love you, Nick. Even if you are shilling for the Timus.
All the love. Oh, I could go. It makes me want to go further. In the middle, right now. Can I? Can I do it while I keep on doing jazz hands?
She could.
You're right. That may. I can, ladies and gentlemen. I can 2 scoops of shilling. Do you like news, politics, and history? Well, then you will love In Time, On Time.
Every time.
Every time, baby.
Just in the nick of time.
Just in the nick of time. That's right, baby. Because
of course, I'm sure Nick shills for us, because
I have seen him. I've seen everybody. Because I will say, I just love the non-believer and ally community, because it's everybody out there. If you are just friendly with atheists or science, if you like to flirt with science, hi science. So how are you doing tonight?
Or
would you
just
put me in a
accept
beaker?
reality? You love reality.
Well, that's the less sugar-coated version. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
you're okay with reality.
Because I could sit here and argue atheism versus theism all day, every day, but it's an intellectual discussion. If you are on team science, that's all I care about.
Well, we'll get.
What is up,
once
Iron?
You're there, we can get you the rest of the way there.
That's
hey,
right.
Iron.
Well, then it's just come in. The water's fine, and we can have some intellectual.
Iron Charioteer is gonna listen in bed, and might I add that is bed where Iron Charioteer has committed sins against Yahweh, the Most Holy God.
I like
he is an unrepentant fornicator. He has had sex outside of marriage, and he doesn't seem to feel bad about it.
Well, honestly, I don't know many Christians that don't follow the Bible to the T. We've all been recently thinking of Kent Hovind, and when I like to think of successful
marriages,
experiments, there you go. Thank you, marriages. That's what I like to think of. What were we talking about? No. K372KA and it's a bottle of water and a 15 feet of whale. Anyway, we are reading Numbers chapter 23. Almost done at the end here. And then we only have one more short chapter, even shorter than this. And we're going to be moving into the open mic as we read the last of Balaam's third sacrifice. He had to make it. It's the rule of 3, James.
You see this, Amy?
too.
this proud sinning here. You see this on the screen? Look at that.
That's right. Oh
Look at that.
my. Yes, I
He
fornicate.
violates the commandments of God.
It's
He doesn't
delicious.
even feel bad about it. He doesn't even feel bad about it.
He takes God's name in vain while he puts in something that's not tame.
And of course, I can't help but remind myself and the viewers of Smokey Saint, our lovely, who was just on the channel the other day, by the way, for the first time. But when he said that he hopes at the final judgment that God forces Iron Charioteer to ride an iron chariot to the judgment before picking him up off the chariot and telling
I'm
him he was
excited to read that.
one of the dumbest humans to ever live and throwing him into hell. So you made a good impression there, Iron.
Ken Hovind is the science. What Carrot Top is the science. Also, what is up, X Music?
X-Music.
We got all the heathens in the house.
A lot of
having
blasphemy.
fun. And we've
A lot
been
of
reading
fornicators
so
out
much
there.
wisdom. Exactly. A lot of fornicators. They can't help themselves. And Balakatak brought Balaam Bam onto the top of Pierce Morgan. Probably. As a noun. That looketh toward the Johnson. I'm pretty sure that's what that says. Oh, it says Balak brought Balaam to the top of the PR. Okay, close. I was close. And Balaam Bam said unto Balakatak, build me some Legos. They'll be cool.
If you build it, they will come.
If you build it, they will come. Oh my, is that what they?
Yeah.
Whew,
that's a promise.
I guess so. That's a promise and a guarantee. Build me here 7 altars, because when you're the good guy, you have altars and then you have sacrifices and goat's blood.
7 altars again, in case you guys don't remember. The first 2, 7 altars built.
Yeah, once again, altars to a god. That's always, I'm pretty sure that's the end of Ghostbusters, no? Always good to have altars and things coming out.
Scolari Brothers gave him the chair. When they come back to haunt the judge.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. What is up, Flum? Yeah, no, Iron Chariots seem to be his downfall. I don't know what it is about, but yeah. I guess it's just that type of technology. It's overwhelming. You know, I would
overwhelming
understand if I was a god too. I'd be like, whoa. I am the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing creator of the universe.
But iron shit, not brass or bronze, but fucking iron.
Yeah, come on. You want me to do everything?
I mean, I just invented the fucking wheel, not even like 1,000 years ago. Fuck.
Exactly. Now you're gonna get me with iron chariots? Jesus. Well, not Jesus yet, but spoilers. So Balaam said unto Balakatak, build me here 7 altars, prepare me 7 Sandra Bullocks. No, not
7 more bullocks.
She's so fabulous. And 7 Dodge Rams. And Balakatak did as Balaam Bam had said and offered a Sandra Bullock and a Dodge Ram on every altar.
God damn it.
Wow. So Balak said to Balaam, come with me to another place. It sounds like a Disney song no matter which way you cut it. Maybe God will curse the Israelites from here. Balak brought
Where's
Balaam
the Little Mermaid?
Under the sea. Come with me
I want to be
another
where
place.
the people are.
Yeah. Or where they get killed. Balak brought Balaam to the top of a PR. Sounds like a nice date to me. Okay. Balaam said to Balak, build me 7 altars and sacrifice 7 bullocks and 7 rams because we're the good guys.
Yay.
And Balak did as Balaam asked and offered a bullock and a ram on every altar. Holy moly. No, it all makes sense. And Send
We got
in.
another Facebook viewer.
That's
Wow.
right. What is up, Ernie?
Ernie Paul.
Hail Satan, or I always like to hail Satin because generally softer, but I'm open to both, honestly. Open to both.
Grumpy old cuss is down with that.
That's right. Look, love a good old hail 100% satin. But we have just packed in so much wisdom. We're going to move on to
Chapter 34.
chapter 24, the book of Numbers.
24. Oh.
But this is going to be our last chapter of the
Another
night,
speech?
and we're going to move into the open mic. So, yes, what is the first thing you're going to do after you do a bunch of sacrifices? Well, you make a speech about it. That would be my guess.
Well, I mean, you know, as atheists, we're evil and we'll worship anything that's evil, you know, like the
Right.
devil.
True.
So,
like the devil, who, by the way, has not been in this story since Adam and Eve. So
not
his kill
explicitly.
count, right there, baby. His kill count is right there.
But he is responsible for snakes not having legs, which, I mean, I'm sure all the snakes out there that they're just wishing they had legs, you know. The billions and billions of snakes that successfully survive on Earth today are all just wishing.
Which
they have
is,
fucking
again,
legs.
such the presumption of creationism, of them just
Right.
looking down on other animals.
Look at them.
Being like,
They
why
don't
wouldn't
have
they want
legs. That sucks to have legs when they get around just fine without legs. You gave them legs, they would probably like, what? Why the fuck would I want legs? I get around just fine like this.
Just fine. Yeah, but the whole teeth and the fangs and venom and all that other stuff, they're doing just good.
Of course, before the fall, they had to eat vegetables, right? So they had
exactly.
You know, just imagine a rattlesnake curling up and attacking an apple and swallowing it whole. I mean, it happened, I guess.
Yeah. And ironically, the predators tend to be more intelligent. So really, what you're saying is everything was better when everyone was dumb, when everyone was just an idiot eating
Amy,
grass.
that's the entire message of Genesis, really.
That does seem to be the entire
humans
message.
Did not have knowledge of good and evil, and everything was good, Amy, until they decided they wanted to know things. They wanted to educate themselves. They wanted to know things. But God didn't want them to know things because he made everything perfect, and they were dumb. They didn't know anything, but it was good because they could worship him properly.
You also know what would be the best way of not eating a tree that God doesn't want you to eat? Knowledge of good and evil. Funny how that works.
If we eat this tree, then billions of people are going to have to die because of that. So, I guess maybe we really shouldn't eat the tree.
It happens. Yeah, I guess. But, you know,
maybe that would be bad.
2020, I guess.
Maybe that would be evil to kill billions of people over eating fruit because a snake told us to. A talking snake with legs told us to. But he was a talking snake, Amy, and he had legs. So, I mean, if a talking snake with legs walked up to you and told you to do something, you'd probably just blindly listen to him, whatever he said, right?
Honestly, I find it hard not to just do whatever talking snakes do all the time. I mean, I had a talking snake trying to sell me meth the other day, and it was hard to finally go, no, talking snake, I will not buy meth from you. It happens all the time.
I mean, if he took you up to a tall building and said, hey, if you jump off, I will allow you to fly, you'd probably say, well, it makes sense to me.
Exactly.
And just dive right off, right? Because, hey, a talking snake with legs told you so.
James, if all the talking snakes were doing it, wouldn't you? I feel like I
guess that's the thing.
That's right. And all right, we're going to break into the last chapter. I am going to send a link because we are trying to get 50 followers on Twitch. So if you would like to join our Twitch stream where we're running the same thing, because we triple stream, baby, on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Not a double barrel. It's a fucking triple barrel.
That's right. We just love giving more and more ways to give you content. And all right, before we break into the open mic, Balaam's third speech, because everyone's got to get extra.
So we got the smiley face and then the science and history confliction.
That's right. So, and I brought out my specialty. Not only is there some hilarity going on in this chapter, but I have a special present here, which is a blushy tardigrade. If anyone knows what the tardigrades are, they are some of the hardest living little microorganisms out there. Are they said multi-cell? I freaking love tardigrades. They can be put into extreme temperatures. They can be frozen. Oh my lordy. They are extremophiles, I think is the exact word, in that they live in extreme conditions. There's been tardigrades in space. Yay! So science. We're probably going to be learning a lot of science. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Balaam's third speech. My goddess. He's been killing and giving speeches, as you do.
That's Bible style.
Bible style. And when Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord Bob
it pleased the Lord. Oh, it really pleased the Lord.
He was on his knees to bless Israel Shmishmael. Oh, bless me, Israel Shmishmael. She went not.
And you got really blessed.
Oh, I got blessed. And at other times to seek +4 agility enchantments, but she set his face toward the wilderness of PvP in RuneScape. Ooh. It happens.
We just heard about that on the Ken Hovind debate.
I did. It did. So funny, him giving a debate before jail. Or court.
Which he hasn't. I don't think he checked himself into jail yet. I think he's appealing. I don't know if he'll get in trouble for that or whatever. Or if
maybe he can have Jesus as his witness.
Hey, you would say that the corrupt courts wouldn't allow it because, they hate God.
That's right. And Balaam lifted up his eyes, and he saw Israel Shmishmael abiding in his 15-inch tents, if you get what I mean, according to their tribes. Their tribes. I'm trying to think of something. Tribes is such not a funny. Oh, fine. We're going to in-group and out-group people.
We need tribalism, Amy. We have to have an us and them. Tribalism is, yes.
Honestly, that's I'm getting tired of the sentence, everything started going well after we got tribal. You know how it is. And the spirit of the goddess came upon him, of course.
Oh. It sounds like a fun time, huh?
Sounds like a fun time. And he took up his parable and sprayed and dayed. No. And said, Balaam, the son of Beor's hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath... Oh, hold on. He was getting Shakespearean. Let me do this properly. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Bezor's beef, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open hath said. Oh, okay. He said, which heard the words of goddess, which saw the vision of the Almighty. Oh, yes. What are we talking about? Falling into...
Yes, Almighty, yes.
Yes,
more Almighty. Can you be even more Almighty?
Oh, baby, you're having me fall into a trance, but having my eyes open. But anyway, how goodly are thy tents? Are they
Oh,
like at least half off? O Jacob's ladder and thy tabernacles, which are our portable tents, holy tents that we've been building and
they're
traveling with.
very, very, very holy.
Very horror. Oh, so holy. Oh, Israel.
Who likes
Schmidt.
special at Kmart?
That's right, baby. As the ranch valleys, are they spread forth as the wonderful Caesar's gardens
The
by
cheeks are
the
spread.
riversides. That's right, spread the cheeks. As the trees of Lynn, I need at least 10% aloe, which the Lord Bob hath planted, and as the cedar trees are a good selection for my backyard, besides the wooders. Okay,
Oh,
hold
I've
on.
got a cedar for you.
Oh, baby. When Balaam saw that it pleased God to bless Israel, he went into the wilderness without seeking enchantments. Is that something we have to do? He saw Israel in their tents, apparently, and the Spirit of God came upon them hot. And he recited this parable when falling into a trance with his eyes open. Nice tents you've got there, Jacob, and tabernacles, and
Be ashamed
Israel.
if something
That is
happened to him.
the funniest trance. He fell into a trance and said, nice tent you have there. You became a dad joke. Fantastic. How goodly
Nice
are
tits you have there, Jacob.
I mean, that is, I mean, hey, sometimes you got to compliment a man on his tent. You got to call it like it is.
God's envious.
Flum says Agog, not Agag. You got the wrong version, Amy. Oh, that's right. Sometimes you got to get a nice Agog, a nice heavy Agog. Agog?
Pitch intense,
Agog.
fair, pitch intense.
Pitch intense. Look, you wake up in the morning, it happens sometimes. I understand. I'm not blaming anybody. He shall pour the water all over me. What? Out of his bucket.
Like champagne.
Oh, like champagne.
Or like that tape from a Russian hotel room.
And his seed shall be in many swimming pools. I think that's what it says. Yes. And his queen shall be higher than Agag. Oh, Agag too. Hey,
higher?
Agag.
How high, Amy?
How high?
Higher
So
than Agag.
Higher than Agag. And his kingdom shall be exalted.
Oh,
It
exalt
does
my
happen.
kingdom, baby. Please exalt it.
Goddess brought him forth out of New York, and she can put your back right back in.
Oh, I don't want to go back to Egypt.
Go back.
We already stole all the gold from them. There's nothing left to steal.
Yo, what the hell? What the hell? Okay. Oh, no, let's read this. Let's read this, everyone. Literal lists. Come on. Let's do it. Numbers chapter 24. We're on passage 8.
Number 8, yeah.
God brought him forth out of Egypt. I'm not making fun of anything. Just reading this straight up. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn.
Oh, once again.
Unicorn. Okay. Just making sure I'm not hallucinating.
Well, once again comparing God to a unicorn, which actually I okay with.
I guess so, yeah. He shall eat up the nations, wow, his enemies, and shall break their bones and pierce them through with arrows. God is as strong as a unicorn. Finally, we're starting to agree.
He's as real as one, too.
As real as a unicorn. He will eat up nations, break their bones, and pierce them through with arrows.
With the unicorn horn.
Is this the second time that we have now come across the Bible literally talking about unicorns?
I think it's been more than that, actually, but yeah. I think it has mentioned them before.
At least this chapter.
I think it's a recurring theme in the Bible.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do when a unicorn comes around.
Like the Johnny Cash song, When the Man Comes Around, a God song.
The God song of unicorns. All right, whatever you say.
When the unicorn comes around.
When the unicorn comes. I was muted. Okay, 3,
Oh,
2,
I thought my sound cut out.
1.
You were muted.
Okay, I was just taking 3 seconds to really appreciate unicorns being in the Bible. Okay, Balaam's he couched. Oh man, he's laying on your couch. She couched. She lay down as a lion, and as a great lion. Arar. Who shall stir?
Oh, she roared.
Arar. Who shall stir her up? Blessed is she that
Not me.
blesseth thee. Not me, baby. Blessed thee, as I squeak. Cursed is he that curseth thee. So much wisdom. So much wisdom.
Oh, it's just pouring out of every verse.
And all right, we are going to be moving on to the last passage of the last chapter tonight.
It's almost over.
And so that's right. We are going to be moving into the open mic soon, which means I am going to be sending the link into YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what your streaming platform is, you can come on and tell us about all the wisdom that you just experienced.
Well, you could, yeah. I had a request to go back on camera, so I am. From one of
That's
our
right.
very special viewers out there.
Well, I will say it is always awesome when we actually see people. It doesn't have to be always. Like I love seeing your fantastic face, James. But
Thank you.
It's almost like I'm starting to realize that when you live at least a little bit showing who you are, they can't come after you because who are you? You're just who you are.
That's why you put everything about you out there. You put it all out there. There you go. Then they can't hold it over your head.
Then they can't hold it over my head. Exactly. And Farron's like, how much is the strength of a unicorn measured?
Oh,
I don't know. Probably in unicorn watts. But
very
I will
strong.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in stream. So we're going to just finish this last passage and then
we've
slip into the open mic.
A very special unicorn backstage already.
That's right, baby. And all right, Balaam's fourth speech, because we're breaking the rule of 3, because Balaam just likes to go on and on. Oh, my Lord. You kill 3 animals and then you want to make more speeches? I know, so much. Well, you can't get enough Aaron Rob because he's dead. So now we got Balaam. He's our new main character.
I can't get enough Aaron Rob.
That's right, baby.
He just makes such good videos.
Well, that's right. Somehow he came back to life, and now he is talking against Yahweh. So see, Yahweh, you should have treated your prophets or priests much better.
Yeah.
And all right, Balaam's
Yahweh will rue that day.
Yeah, he rues every day. He makes mistakes nonstop. It's kind of ridiculous and funny. But not only do we have fun? Because God likes to have giggles. God is a giggle fest. When I think of the Bible, I have
Just for shits and
just a
giggles.
ton of laughs. Exactly. But we sometimes like to think that these texts have multiple interpretations.
Oh. Now that's a category we don't get to very often.
That is a likely outcome.
Yeah, I knew it.
Oh.
I knew it.
Come on, Gizmo.
As we move into Numbers chapter 24, the end half, Balaam's fourth speech.
Someone woke up here.
Got some Sandra Bullocks. Hi, Gizmo!
The face of Gizmo, the face of God.
I would take cats over a god. I think if we had a choice. And I'm pretty sure it's Ricky Gervais said, I don't know where dogs go, but I want to go where they are.
All dogs go to heaven.
All dogs go to heaven.
The movie.
And Balakatak's anger. He was so angry. Was
So
kindled.
pissed.
So pissed. Against Balamatam. And he smote his hands together. Pew, 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 pew. And Balakatak said unto Balaam, Bam, I called you like 3 times and you didn't
You haven't
answer.
returned my text. I texted you. You saw the text. I know you saw it, but you didn't text me back.
I called thee to curse mine enemies. Close enough. And behold, we got to get extra. Thou hast altogether blessed. Oh, from these 3 times. Fantastic. Therefore, now you better fight or flee. Oh, here we go.
Fight or flight.
Therefore, now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee, but you weren't a good general manager unto great honor. But Io, the Lord Bob, hath kept thee back from honor. How dare you?
Oh.
I'm sorry, what? So Balak was angry with the Klingons. He clapped his hands, which is kind of funny in and of itself, and said to him, I call you to curse my enemies, and you have blessed them 3 times. Go home.
Was this Richard Simmons video?
It was.
Go home, Balaam. You're drunk. Yeah.
That's right.
Home,
what is up, Apricot Sloth? Dun dun dun. Yeah, Yahweh seems drunk. Balaam seems drunk. They're all just
drunk on
tipsy.
blood, anyway.
Drunk on blood, baby. Therefore, now.
Wherefore thou, Romeo?
Wherefore out, Romeo, wherefore out Yahweh. And Balaam Bam said unto Balakatak, Spack. Oh, God, you're going to start spacking onto me again. I not also
It's been a while.
To thy messengers. You got to keep things moist. Everyone's favorite word. Which thou sentest unto me, saying, if Balakatak would give me his house full of silver and gold coins from the arcade, I cannot go beyond the commandments of the Lord Bob.
Well, you can't go beyond the commander level.
You can't go over the commander level. That'd be silly. Of the Lord Bob, to do either good or bad. Oh my, dirty girl. Of mind own mind.
So dirty.
So dirty. But what the Lord Bob saith, that will I speak. Better
what he
listen.
saith, he sprayeth.
Sprayeth. And now behold, we got it. We are beholding. We've been beholding all along.
Sitting there waiting for it.
I know. I go unto my people. Come. Therefore, and I will advertise thee. What this? People
how can they advertise thee? They shut back page down.
Damn it. In the later days and the happy days, whichever one you like better.
think it means happy gaze.
Well, that was with the. I was hoping that was with the stoned gaze in earlier passages, but I'm not sure I'm reading that right.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah,
And he took up his parable and said, "How you doing, girl? You want to hear me read poetry?" And said, "Balaam Bam, the son of Beor's beef, hath said, and the man whose eyes are open, they're so open, hath said." He said, he totally said it. He hath said, well, okay, it said he hath said, and then you start another passage with he hath said. I knew he was saying things, gosh darn it. I don't need to be told twice. I was ready. I was ready to be said. Anyway, he hath said, which heard the words of goddess, and knew the knowledge, except for Adam and Eve. Those shits didn't know anything, and then I
They
kicked
didn't know
them
their
out.
ass from a hole in the ground.
Of the Most High, this shit get you stoned, which saw the vision of the Almighty. Thank you, Almighty.
Not
Falling
almost almighty, totally
to-
almighty.
Oh, it's almighty. I will say, after you pitch a tent, something better be almighty.
Hey, we got Tobin Templeman out there.
What's up, Tobin?
Tobin, been a while since you visited. Well, thanks for coming back.
It's been a while since I said copyrighted song. Anyway, what are we doing? I shall see him. Oh my. After his eyes are opened.
Oh, you like the cat? Yeah. Can't get enough.
Yeah. It's pro Gizmo stream. All streams. And eat him up, baby. Eat him up. He's like delicious. Shall be a possession. Oh my, it's possessed. Sir.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Possession for his enemies. Oh, okay. Only his enemies. And Israel
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir.
If that
You're on your way to hell, sir.
Hopefully, we sell timeshares there, so it's where all the cool kids are. And Israel shall do so valiantly. He's going to ride on 2 horses, but we can't afford horses, so it's just
2 unicorns.
Coconuts.
Unicorns are cheaper.
Unicorns work. I know. Hey, James, we're not making fun of the Bible. We're just quoting it when we talk about unicorns
quoting
now.
it, exactly.
Quoting it. Just trying to be literal. Not like these other
Calvin says
Christians.
every word of it is literal, true, scientific, verified.
You can fit it in a petri dish. I believe it. And Israel should do so valiantly. He's so sexy. Out of Jacob's ladder shall come he that shall have dominion. Oh, we're ordering pizza? And shall destroy him, because that's
Dominion
what good
pizza.
guys do. Dominion's pizza. Domino's. Someone call.
Dominion from Star
Dominion.
Trek.
Okay, Star Trek, I'll take it too. Maybe they have Dominion pizza. Look, you need intergalactic pizza. I believe it.
Shapeshifter pizza.
Shapeshifter
Dominion
pizza.
were shapeshifters, yeah.
Oh my God! So you don't really know what topping you're getting. It happens.
Can be whatever, yeah.
Could be whatever you want. Kind of like Jesus and Yahweh and all these other figures, unless you read it literally.
The lizard reptiles.
And the lizard reptiles. You gonna talk about my parents like that? No. And shall
Throw yourself out there
him.
like that, Amy. Come on.
I will say that is what pisses me off, knowing that the Jewish conspiracies are 100% wrong. Like, that is bullshit, okay? I was promised
that you guys are all reptiles.
so much. I should have control of the earth right now.
From the Zeta Reticulus system. Yeah.
But picky. Moving onward. You
mean your parents didn't have to mix the blood in the baby bottle to keep you from shape-shifting back into a lizard?
Unicorns. This is bullshit. I see unicorns right here. I demand unicorns, biblically. I
see dead unicorns.
I see
dead unicorns.
All right, so Jacob will have dominion and will destroy all those who remain in the city. Is Jacob doing? Let me just get. Is Jacob doing his work? A star will come out, and Jacob, and a scepter will form out of Israel. My lordy, it just seems like for God and his chosen people, they're sure doing a lot of killing. A little more genocide than you would expect for a god. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
25% more genocide.
25% more genocide. And when he looked on Amtrak, he's like, it's going to be late again. He took up his
That damn
parable.
single tracking shit.
Damn single track, I know. And said Amtrak was the first of the nations. Oh, makes sense and get around. But his latter end shall be the perish forever. What? But he will perish. Oh, cool. Good. More death. Then he looked on the Kenites, which are very similar to the Barbyites, and took up his parable and said, strong is thy dwelling place. Can I
Thick
say
is
that?
thy rod.
Oh my, hey, Aaron's rod, it's magic. That's what the passage said. And thou puttest thy nest in a rock, if you get what I mean.
Just don't tap on it twice. It will
Yes,
really
don't
trigger
tap on it
God.
twice. Yeah, don't tap. Another Fedora moment. A dude tapped on a rock that was generating water twice, and God killed him.
Not just a dude, his high priest.
It's high priest.
Yeah.
As you do, as you do.
I mean, it's not strange fire, but it's still
it's not
pissed him
strange
off.
fire, but it's still pretty effed up in terms of
The tap on a rock twice.
Just off of God, yeah. Nevertheless, she persisted. The Kenite and Barbyites shall be wasted, dude, until Ash Ketchum shall
Open bar.
Open bar, the away captive. Oh, I love a captive audience. And ships shall come. I didn't know they could do that. Is that how ships is that how baby ships are born?
Apparently so.
From the coast of Chittim, and shall affect Ash Ketchum, and shall affect.
Chittim would only be the 800 feet long arcs.
I was trying to avoid that word for the people that were eating, but it really does look like.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, and shall affect Ash Ketchum, and shall affect the ebb and flow of Eber, and he shall also perish forever, because everyone seems to be dying in this book. And Balaam Bam rose up.
He rose up. Bam bam.
Bam bam. And went and returned to his place. Finally, I returned to my place.
You want to go back to my place?
Want to go back to my place? It'll be hot. And Balak Attack also went his way. Oh, good. He went with them, or went his own way.
He went his way.
Always good to have more adventures.
Para-adventures.
Para-adventures. And, oh my lordy, with that brings us to the end of Numbers chapter 24.
Was that as amazing for you guys?
That open mic, I know. Was that as amazing for you as it was for me? What do you think, James? Wisdom after wisdom?
I mean, the speeches after the sacrifices, it was just amazing. Yeah. I don't know what else I can say about it, but yeah.
And at least 2 messages of unicorns in this passage. What is up, Richard? I think I have to respond to your email. I think you're another person. I think we're doing sharing streams. Going on.
Richard's a metaphorical theist, I believe.
Woo-hoo. We're doing a whole bunch of upcoming content. Having fun and saying hello. But I feel like we might have covered as much wisdom as we're gonna get. And of the lovely Titan, Uranus, what is up? It's right,
Yeah, I'm
baby.
sorry, Titan.
Sneak that stream right in. But it's okay. I do have to show this to you, Titan, because we can look at it a third time. We can look at it. Honestly, I want to see this.
I mean, there were 4
third time.
speeches, so.
There were 4 speeches, but this is a literal God brought him forth out of Egypt. He hath, as it were, the strength of an unicorn. That's not Amy doing her little shtick. That's not
the
James
Bible.
W. trying to rib the Bible. That is the Bible being the Bible.
Comparing God to a unicorn. And I'll say he is as real as a unicorn. I will say that. That is true.
I guess so. I'm sold. And
Peace
on
and
that
respect,
note,
Richard.
we are going, that's right, sending love to Richard, all of our theist brothers and sisters.
He's always a polite guy, Richard.
Our
He's always, every stream he's in, he's always nice to everybody. So,
with that, we are moving into the open mic, the
got
link of which...
a couple misfits back there.
A couple misfits, which means we're switching in. I will pin it. But we got Nick, we got Flum. We are having some fun in our Skeptic Bible Study open mic. Woo! Woohoo!
Hey,
What
Nick,
is
just
up,
in time, man.
Just in time for
How's
fun.
it going? Yeah. I got the joke. Thank you. Yeah. I've never heard that before. You guys are original. Well, hey,
your
on our streams.
you had said, if anyone wants to come in to discuss the wisdom on our show, and I was just like, I must have missed a part of the show because I couldn't figure out where the wisdom was coming from. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Let's see. Oh Jesus, I think there was something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. You guys just had me waiting in the back, twiddling my thumbs forever, going like,
the
do I get to come on? Oh, the unicorn. Okay, so unicorns are in I think there's roughly 26 accepted translations of the Bible. Unicorns are in 4 of them, including the King James version. Now, the King James version was, up until about 10 years ago, the single most common version of the Bible. So it was great that unicorns were in there because you could just sit there and say, okay, you got unicorns, witches, zombies, satyrs, which are actually goat gods. So they're in there. Just all sorts of, of course, nobody knows this. Yeah, the satyr, it's like a goat. It's a goat god. There are. I'm sorry, what?
Like a Baphomet?
I don't know what that is, but it's they're the hooved. They're goats that stand up on, and they're
That's like a Baphomet.
Yeah.
The Baphomet is that thing that everyone thinks about Satanism, that goat head thing.
That's the goat of Mendes. Is the
yes,
Baphomet.
that's it. So, and then now the King James is no longer like the number one. It's still number 2, and it's kind of in
NIV.
I think that's it. So it just makes it's so sad to me because I don't think it's because of the unicorns in it, but now it's so much harder to beat them over the head with the unicorn. It's a rhinoceros, it's a bull. It translates now into any number of things, usually rhinoceros, but. That's the unicorn's fun. The unicorn's a lot of fun, and they appear in several places. In fact, there's one place where, and a lot of apologists will say, well, it's a dream, yada yada yada, but the person recognizes the unicorn as an actual beast, and it comes up to him, and he starts having a conversation with it.
The question is,
sorry, no spoilers.
Where are the unicorn fossils?
Oh well, North Korea, and I'm not kidding.
Damn it.
He did claim that, yeah.
Yeah, he did. Well, he was doing that because there's a segment of the Christian population that believe that basically unicorns missed the boat. Literally, they missed the boat, so that's how they got all wiped out. Was the Noah's flood
You're saying they were late. Damn
They
it.
were late. They were late. They didn't make it. So they're looking for unicorn fossils, and there's teams of Christian archaeologists looking for unicorn fossils. It's not a huge thing in Christianity. Most Christians don't even know that it's happening. But Kim Jong-un, I think it was when Bush was president, figured, okay, Bush is a Christian, so if we claim that we found a unicorn fossil, and sort of like, yeah, that's not mainstream Christianity, but it got a lot of people's attention.
We'll
there are
get
people
Christians
still
to
looking
come
for it.
here so that we can then imprison them for walking on the grass for 40 years.
Well, that was what I was wondering. I was like, what happens when? I mean, did he think Bush would come himself to grab the fossil off a beach or something? I was just like, this really doesn't hold any. I don't know what his end
They're
game
not
was
typically
with that.
friendly to tourists,
No. So yeah. So the unicorns are that whole sort of mythos is a blast, and it's one more thing that I will say that too. I studied the pantomimes where you can tell when people are lying or exaggerating or not being honest with you, and it takes a while to study them. But I will say, and I'm a little concerned, and I just wanted to say this. I've been watching the stream now for quite some time, and after watching, I've reached the conclusion now, just by listening to the two of you and using what I've learned about pantomimes, that you guys don't take the Bible all that seriously.
How dare you, good sir?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm in the back, and half of me is sitting there going, "Oh, that was hilarious," and half of me was like, "Really, Amy? Really, James? Really? I guess so." Like,
We
Really,
take
Nick?
this stream super serial. Super serial.
Serial. Yeah, well, that and the Ken Hovind thing. Oh my God, he's always, and now he's doing debates again, which his last one on. Oh yeah, because he debated Leo, and then somebody had said, oh wow, he gets Wi-Fi in jail.
That was me.
Oh, that was you.
That was
Oh, you are now my hero.
me. Yeah.
I mean, you need to have more respect for people, and we'll let the process finish. Sorry. That's
right. Gotta
yeah.
let the process work itself.
Yeah.
I'm sure he didn't do
great.
it. Like I said, it was probably just his gravity experiment to see if when he pushed his wife down, if gravity would bring her to the ground.
Yeah. He was trying to prove.
It did.
Yeah, I was trying to prove God. Usually for my debates, and I used to debate really rather frequently, and I stopped, especially because with the show it takes so much time, and I'd prep for my debates for like 2 weeks at least. And when I debated Hovind, I went into it because you guys had this discussion, and this was one of those. I showed up late, so I wasn't able to. But when I debated Hovind, I was like, look, of course he believes it. He's not, and I'm the really naive cherub, right? I'm always the last one to get when somebody's just a piece of shit. But I was like, no, I'm sure he really believes it, and all this other stuff. And the more I studied his background, the more I studied things he said, wrote, all this other stuff. It's like everything he does.
Where did you debate him? Where was that?
On his channel. I debated on his channel. The topic was, is evolution true? And I wanted to do it on his channel because it was right after Aaron Ra had done a whole bunch of debates, and he was having a hard time. He really didn't want to debate anyone. He felt that the Non Sequitur show had hosed him by giving Aaron Ra extra time. But I was like, okay, let's do the debate. And then it was his moderator, his channel, is evolution true? Was the topic, and I was thrilled that by the end of it, it was 300,000 subs, and I wasn't debating to convince him. And by this point, I was like, he is a fraud. He knows none of this is true, and I have zero doubt in my mind. But I was just like, look, I want his audience to, so I tend to, at least to the best of my ability, be friendly and affable. And when he'd say comments, I'd say, okay, here's why I think you're wrong, and let's be friendly and all this other stuff. And the comments in the live chat were like, I think all these atheists are wrong, but here's one who's making some sense. I'm going to look into it. I was like, yeah. I was like, that's the.
Hey.
So it was a lot of fun, and we actually have it on in time, so you can see both that and the intro, which I was really proud of because he let me do a pre-recorded intro. And it was just, I think it was 12 minutes, and it was just, okay, hey, you're a Christian, right? Don't you hate it when atheists come out and say, well, the Bible says this, this, and this, and it's like they haven't even read it? You know where they're getting their information from? Atheists like Dawkins, and Hitchens. Do you think they should be going to these people, or do you think they should be going to a minister, or at least somebody who has really studied the Bible? So atheists, completely disingenuous. Now, where do you get your information from evolution on? Do you go to Ken Ham? Do you go to Kent Hovind? Do you go to these people? Or have you actually gone to a biologist, somebody who at least believes it and understands it? So, let's play by the same rules here. So we just do the whole intro, and I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Oh, yeah, the other thing was I had seen all his arguments, and so I made some phone calls. And so as we're doing the thing, so I did in my intro, I showed a whole bunch of whale bones and stuff like that. And he said, well, Nick, Nick, there's a fault in this because all the bones with the hip joints, those are really whale penises, which he's very big on. He's got a real thing for that. And so I said, well, the problem with that is on every photo that I showed in the intro, I included the serial numbers of where you can find them in which museum. I showed 5. They were all female. And he's just like, well, I'm not sure. I was just like, you showed it. It's now in the stream. They're all female. I said, well, I don't think.
The whales have a 15-foot.
I was going to say, this is about to get a lot hotter.
Well, it depends on what you're into. For me, the whales don't do it, Amy, but I will not judge. But and then he had said, well, really, unless I was there, I don't think I could because who knows? I said, okay. I called the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Massachusetts. Here is an email, hold that up, where you and I together are invited to a necropsy of a female whale to be done next month. I said, all you got to do is come down to Boston, participate, and I'd spoken, and they were great about it. I mean, they're like, you're debating this guy, and they knew who he was. They're like, you're going to bring him down here to see it? I said, yeah. They're like, done.
He's
done.
not going to come.
Well, what he said was that the trip was too far, and so I said, okay, the closest museum to you that's capable of doing it is 2 hours away. This is the location. They've also agreed. So that was fun. That was fun. But I studied his arguments, and I knew how he responded, so I called both of these museums and gotten a necropsy scheduled where we could do one. And yeah, it turned out, you're right, he didn't show up. He did offer to send me the 12-part series on why the Bible is true from Dinoland. Yeah, which was awfully nice of him, I guess. And he said, you can come on down here and have a free. I was like, you got the money. Why don't you come on? We can do this. It's like, well, we'll talk about it after the show. I was like, I'm sure we will.
I got to go. I got to go. Wife number 3, she really wants it. So I got to go.
Oh, Jesus. And yeah, Titan. But Nick, all mutations are serious and we're devolving. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah. So that's it. And then I did too. I found an elephant that was half corn, and he told us that corn can't go into an elephant. So I actually had in the intro to a picture of an elephant made out of corn, and I was just like, anyone who thinks this is crazy. So yeah.
And we can get Flum in here, and then we can talk some more about your debate.
Sounds good. And all right. Thank you so very much, Nick. And like I said, we like to talk about the serious subjects here. Anything that gets longer than a foot, I feel like we definitely need to talk about. Anyway, thank you so very much,
Titan,
Nick.
Titan, do you know any other streams? And I mean anything. Is Darth Dawkins streaming right now? I will go.
No, he is not streaming on anything. I heard lately.
I'm stuck. Okay.
Darth Titan has like 5 streams on at once. I think he broke the record for timing Otangelo out on like 5 or 6 streams.
Oh, really? I heard he got kicked from all his Discord stuff.
Darth?
So, yeah, that's the...
Hello.
He got kicked off the Reformation, the Supreme Leader?
Oh, I doubt he got kicked off. I really doubt. My guess is he got an award on a Reformation. He probably was
No, I think he's finally gone from that politics and religion or that Reformation server. That is the rumor on the town. I may be wrong, but hey, Tom Rabbit, sending shout out to Tom Rabbit's channel, another awesome YouTube debate community person. Go check him out.
Tom
and we're moving right along, and then we'll go into open discussion. And if you would like to join us, give me. This is my jazz hands. La, right down there, or I'll even do you another solid.
Right down there, Amy. Really?
There's just the link.
It,
That's right, baby. Right
it
down
was doing
there.
the solid that I was sitting there going like, really, really.
You should
She's
probably
trying
at
to.
this point promote your debate with Gavin coming up.
Oh, that's right. And I will say, I'll say it before we get Flum
Even though
in here.
he's under the desk right there, but
that's right, Gavin. Do you mind if we share? Yeah, he
Oh,
says
yeah.
it's okay that we share. We, as you hear my clicky clack, are going to be having a debate this Friday at 10 a.m. Dun, dun, dun.
everybody's
I
like,
know.
10 a.m. Amy Newman?
10
What the?
a.m. But give me a second to shareth my screen. Wah, 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 wah. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be looking for evidence for God on Praise I Am That I Am. 2 days, ladies and gentlemen, 10 a.m.
Well, I'd be happy if you found evidence of his pants first, but
It's already got 3 thumbs up. Hey, go ahead. Go figure.
That's right.
All his subscribers.
Oh, I'm sure I'm just sending love to all of the subscribers out there in
All
Praise's
3 of them.
channel. And I'm sending love to Gavin and Praise and everybody. And okay, with that, we are going to be adding in Flum. We are Skeptic Bible Studying. We read Numbers chapters 23 and 24 on just some absolute pure wisdom plus unicorns. So I hope you're doing well. And what do you think about this sacrifice of a good chapter?
Well, I love the unicorns.
Me too. Me too.
But I can't really worship a god who can't beat iron chariots.
That's also true.
That's kind of a problem for Yahweh. So I have an iron chariot and you're a god and I win?
Does
Say that
seem
again?
like Superman has a kryptonite, so God has his iron chariots, yeah?
Yeah, so he has his weak
so,
spot.
yeah, so... And I don't know which version of the Bible you're reading, but the Agag,
Well,
that's
she can tell you that.
And so it is the Skeptic's Annotated Bible, which is a version of the King James.
yes, but the Agag is actually 3 different gods.
The Agag?
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought that's what I do late at night. But yes,
No.
what are we talking about? Gods.
No.
Gods.
The
3 different
Agag.
gods.
Yeah,
The Agag.
it's Gog, Magog, and Agog. It's not Agag. There's no Agag. That's some weird shit they just wrote in there.
Well, there are other gods apparently in the Bible.
Yeah, yes, it's
Go
3.
figure.
It's 3 different gods.
Well, I mean, 3 for the price of 1.
Yeah,
Not
yes,
a bad deal.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Woo-hoo. All right, well, thank you so very much, Flum. And I agree
Thank
that
you.
they seem to have, like, it seems to be polytheistic sometimes. Goes in and out because of almost like it's a transitionary religion in the
You
Old
said
Testament
in and
Torah.
out and transition.
I tried to fit all of those words into the sentence. I want you to know that. And all right, we thank you so very much, both Nick and
Thank you,
Flum.
Flum.
We're about to go into open conversation But Titan says to make sure to tell Praise you want me to have a wrench and side chat for the bait. I've already got one, but it'll make some people mad. Not Praise.
Yeah.
Titan, I just want to know any Christian or theistic channel that I could say the words Titan Uranus. I feel like it's my duty.
That's a victory.
It's a
That
victory,
in itself
exactly.
is a win.
And so the link is in chat. We are going to
Anybody
go
else
for
wants
about
to come in?
30 more minutes of open mic and having fun before we do closers and then head to Discord, ladies and gentlemen. But we are Skeptic Bible studying. It tends to be a bunch of heathens and non-believers, but we
Go figure.
welcome theists of all stripes.
And you managed to have a few. I mean, there's definitely been some interesting conversations with theists who come in. So I think it's hopefully.
We are known for that of late.
I'm trying to figure out which one was the last one, and I'm terrible with names. But there's the
pseudonym, Bubble, Kathy.
I don't know most of them. I do remember the one. She's at least ostensibly Muslim, and she's wearing the burqa on the yeah. Whew.
She's persona non grata.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. I did not know. Okay, I'm not entirely shocked, to be honest, but
Go figure, right?
Yeah. Oh well, no. She showed up on In Time for a little bit, and that was interesting. It's mostly in the chats afterwards, and then she sort of insisted that she come on the show to explain it. I was just like, no, I don't think. Thanks for inviting yourself, but no.
Don't call us.
Yeah.
We'll call you.
We'll call you.
Yeah.
But the chat with the other night with pseudonym was actually pretty good.
It
I
was.
thought that was a
was
good
an interesting conversation. Yeah.
Now, who is pseudonym? I don't know.
He's a Christian.
And he was one of the few, the only one, because Bubbles didn't really defend the ontology argument. So he was the only one who came on and was kind of giving that type of viewpoint.
I was so bummed I missed the I love the ontological argument and problem of evil are two of my favorites.
Really?
Tangological argument?
Well, for problem of evil, I use a version of the logical argument of the problem of evil, not and it's essentially, I have no doubt that if God exists, of course, if he's omnipotent, if he created the laws of logic, he should be able to violate them. That shouldn't be a problem. So if you say, here's the hypothetical: could God slice a piece of bread thinner than God himself could slice it? Yes. Of course, he can do anything. Why would he be bound by, if he created logic, of course he can. Of course, now I don't understand it, but I don't have the IQ of a 300 trillion God that created everything. So he must be able to violate logic. He must be able to do the impossible.
It would be true that, of course, that he could make a piece of bread so small that he couldn't slice it, and then he also could slice it even though he couldn't.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Of course. So then you get into the problem of evil, where you say, okay, why does he have to have evil? And they hate the word "have to have," but I was like, well, I'll find another word that describes it, and I'll use it. But what they say is, well, he couldn't without that's the only way to teach us. Well, why is that the only way? Well, first of all, again, God made it the only way, and then second of all, let's assume that you need suffering in order to learn for some reason or another, and that's, parents know that, right? I mean, your child isn't going to learn if they don't suffer consequences, unfortunately. So I understand that, but God should be able to teach us all of the lessons that can only be taught
better
without doing exactly. If he can do anything, then he should be able to teach us all of the lessons that require free will and require suffering, but without free will and suffering. Well, if you take out the free will and suffering, then you lose only if God is limited. If God is limited, then of course he can't do it. He has to follow logic. He has to follow, but if he's not, if he's truly omnipotent, of course, And he created, I don't get this. If he created logic, he must be able to violate it. He must be able to suspend it. And if he can't, okay, fine. You just threw omnipotent out the window.
Well, he does sometimes because he suspends it for the Trinity, so he can be one and he can be three, and that doesn't violate logic.
That's a really
because
good
he's
point.
Special.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, so I think that kills it. I think that it was a buddy of mine who said, Nick, have you ever really thought about the problem of evil? I said, no, it's not that big a deal. I was, Nick, it's a defeater. I was like, no, it's not. He was like, yeah, it is.
I don't think it is. I don't think so.
It is only to the omnipotent version. It's not a defeater to anything else. It's reasonably limited, but I think to the omnipotent, it
tools
is.
in their toolkit to get around it. It's not. I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but when I was a Christian, it was never really anything that kept me up late at night, the problem of evil.
Oh, I agree. It doesn't keep any of them up late at night, but I think just in terms of logic, in terms of understanding the argument, it's a defeater.
From a pure philosophical standpoint, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean they're going to listen. It doesn't mean you're going to convince any of them. When I say defeater, I don't mean it's going to deconvert anyone. I mean, I think the what is it, the column, oh my God, the strata, but what do they call it? You know, the
geological column.
Well, no, the column in the earth that shows you can date the
geologic column.
Oh yeah, the geologic. Okay, so that to me seems to be a defeater for young Earth, but it doesn't. I mean, it's just not going to have much of an impact. Yeah.
If you say, "Oh, it was the flood. It did all that. It magically sorted everything in that order all over the earth."
And magically removed all the kangaroo fossils that you'd have to have if the kangaroos went from Mount Ararat to Australia. They just seem to have.
Well, yeah, I mean, only like less than 1% of animals fossilized. So, hey, they just didn't make the cut.
Yep. Well, I mean, listen, evolution or God is hard that way. I mean, look what happened to the unicorn. Yeah.
God is hard.
God is. Oh God, I can't believe you just got me to agree to that one.
No, we got somebody in the back, Amy. We got Richard in the back. She may have stepped out for a minute, but we can keep chatting. But we see you back there, Richard. We'll get you in.
Okay, all I want to say is I definitely heard that hard joke, and I'm never going to let it go. And thank you so very much. And all
Praise
right,
Amy.
We are moving on. We still have more fun to go with Demolish Doctrine. Welcome
That's
to
Richard,
our... Oh, welcome, Richard, to our Skeptic Bible Study. We have been studying Numbers 23 and 24. Welcome to the discussion, and what are your thoughts?
Oh, hey, gosh, Richard. I just caught the tail end of it because I just ended a stream, so you'll forgive me for not knowing much about it. As what I have to say that I did notice you guys are very quick-witted. I think I'm not. So you're going to have to put up with someone boring compared to yourselves.
Sending hearts.
As for the word unicorn, I think the King James has it 9 times. And I'm willing to bite the bullet on that and say that I think it's plausible that unicorns could exist somewhere, just not here. But then I think that it's talking about future events caused onto the earth, not history. So I'm okay with finding no bones.
No bones.
No bones.
Well, and all right. Thank you so very much, Richard, and welcome to the conversation.
It's a little weird when people quote me, which happens for any number of reasons from time to time. If you can't imagine a God that you'd like to exist, you have a severe lack of imagination. I stand by that. Even with Hitchens, either he wasn't trying or he lacked imagination, but he said he couldn't imagine a God he would want to. He couldn't imagine why anyone would want God. I was just like, oh, yeah, no. I disagree with that statement.
Nicholas, I'd like to challenge you on the Christian assertion, which is not your assertion, that God has to be omnipotent.
All right. Well, it depends on who you ask whether or not that's true. Christians, for the most part, have abandoned that one. That used to be extremely important to them. They've abandoned it because it's not really tenable. So,
Well,
are
I would
you?
just change that to the whole quad omni thing. I don't see that claim inside the Bible. I see that claim being made by Christians. I
Oh,
find
that I
that
think is true.
all the claims of knowledge from within the text actual are qualified by that section of text saying what that being knows everything about. Not that it knows everything about everything. That's an assumption.
No, I completely agree with you. I think there is no way to draw that inference from the text, and the text certainly doesn't explicitly say it, and seems to
Right.
imply that he's not. Now, the ones who believe that he is find ways around it. So, for example, in Genesis, Adam, where are you? You know, he doesn't know where Adam is, and what the Christians who defend the God who knows everything, they say, well, that's sort of like when a parent has, and they love the parent analogy, when a parent has busted a child and the child's hiding. They know where the child's hiding, but like, where are you? You know, come on out. You don't have to. And I was like, okay, I think you could go there. I think it's easier to go there because this is in English and we're reading into it the way we want to. I haven't read it in the original languages, so I've got no idea. And there's no way to, but if you add up all the times that you have to throughout the Bible, and it's quite a lot, to find an excuse for why it doesn't mean what it sounds like. It's awfully incredible to me to try to defend that position, and I think they've had to. That's why that position has had to change. I don't remember. I know St. Thomas Aquinas had something to do with it, but it's been a while since he of course had that view. The reality is, if God created everything in the universe and all of these other things, it's I can see how and why they'd naturally want to go to that, and I think they want their God to be better than every other God that's out there, and so they push that. But that's not doctrine in any. Yeah.
That's nothing more than 2 7-year-olds around saying my daddy's bigger than yours.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. And I listen when God also talks about, when God is rather petty in the and talks about being petty in the Old Testament. I mean, again, they have to kind of work hard to get around
jealous,
that. And if you, somebody was robot. I think that was James.
I said when he says
but
I'm jealous or makes other declarations.
That doesn't lend
like
itself towards. I think James is trying to talk, but James, you're roboting.
Actually, Nicholas, I think you're the one that's getting the robot. No one else is. As far as I can tell.
Am I?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's odd. Okay, I couldn't hear what James said. It's odd. I can hear you, but not James. Okay. So I'm sorry, James. I didn't hear what you said. So what I was going to say
I was just saying when God claims to be jealous in the Old Testament, like his claims to be maybe more human-like, I guess.
It certainly appears that way, right? I mean, he just and then all of a sudden, it's really after Jesus that Christians are really concerned with. Okay, he's this being. So,
did anyone besides me look up the weird spelling and why the weird spelling of the word jealous?
No, I don't know.
You know, if you just change the first letter to a Z, it's zealous. That's because they're actually rooted in the same word. They're
jealous in English, they're rooted in the same word?
No, well, yeah, they're rooted in the same idea, not the same word exactly, but they're rooted in. That's why the spelling is so similar. It's probably better to say something like, in English, it probably would have come out better as I'm passionate about you, rather than I have an unreasonable ownership of you, which is, in our modern language, we look at jealous as being like unreasonable ownership.
Okay.
I think that's a presentism fallacy when we're forcing our modern view of a certain word back onto a foreign ancient language.
Well, it is typically viewed in the negative in modern sense, but
I'd be willing to accept that, but you don't go back to ancient language. You go back specifically to, for example, the original King James translation and what the translators were going off of in English as they viewed it at the time. So the argument would have to be that when they were translating it, assuming they were translating not from another English copy, which I think they were not. I think they were using the Greek and Aramaic. Then the question is, why would they pick jealous over zealous or something else? And
you said that better than I did.
Thank you. So I'd have to ask. I mean, can a language change that much over that period of time? Sure, it's changed. It's changed faster, and we've seen it. But I'd still be interested to see if that was the case. I've never heard that before. I mean, that would certainly be interesting.
Christians have also made the same mistake with the word curse. When the original intent was more like any general promise or agreement is a curse. It didn't have a negative connotation it has right now in our language. A pact, that kind of idea, yeah.
I mean, I'd also be interested in, because, and it's been a while since I've looked at that, and so I'd want to refresh myself the context of I am a jealous God. But if it's anywhere near any of the passages about graven images, about so it really depends on what the context was, and because you can often determine from the context what they probably meant by the word. You can't always. It's certainly not a surefire bulletproof thing. But I'd want to look at the context of that passage as well before I'd make a determination one way or the other.
I mean, I don't read or speak Greek. But I'm standing on the shoulders of giants when I say these things, that I'm counting on the definitions being accurate. But when I go back to the lexicon, I find the modern translations to be, they don't make sense to our people and our tongue at this time. So you end up with Christians reading it in this modern sense that it wasn't intended in the first place. And that's very, very misleading.
Well, I would say I think it's no question in the Bible that God he gets really mad when his people worship other gods. So I think this, in the sense of jealousy as we might interpret it, maybe you say, well, it's a justifiable anger. He should be mad because they should only worship him. Okay. But I kind of still fits the jealous, that he gets upset when they talk to other gods, when they look at other gods. He doesn't like it,
Yeah, I have to agree with you, at least relatively or generally right there, that many of the places in context that is what it looks like. But I'd say it's approximately equivalent to saying, you've denied me as your father and adopted a teddy bear that's not even a person.
Well, so what if I was to start to do a deep dive on this, and I'm at least giving a cursory glance, the first thing I do is find a more modern Bible to see how a more modern one looks at it. Now I'm looking at the New International Version and the New Living Translation, both of which appear to use jealous. And in the context that I see here, it's Exodus 25. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in the heavens above or the earth below or in the waters beneath. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, your God, am a jealous God. So just the way it's framed in that sentence, if I were to, jealous, the word jealous makes sense. If I were to replace it with zealous, and in the sense that he's passionate about loving us, that sentence actually, to me, does not read like a cohesive sentence.
It doesn't?
No, because, grammatically it's correct, but it's not a cohesive sentence because the sentence has changed topic. I mean, a sentence should have the same topic at the beginning, at the end, and what he is apparently saying here is, do not bow down to them, so don't worship other people, don't. And the reason for this is, for I am jealous, and let's see, hold on.
And it might be something like to the third or fourth of generation of those that hate me.
Yep.
Might be something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I don't know. It seems in my brain, the way I'm seeing that it works just fine. I don't know what the gap between the way you're looking at it and the way that I'm looking at it is. Maybe we can investigate that.
Well, he's talked before about his Jesus in particular. So this is a little difficult because this is the Old Testament. But Jesus in particular would talk about his love for human beings, his love for mankind, and how he would like other people to have that love. So I would expect in sentences and paragraphs talking about that you would find the same theme in those paragraphs. So it's certainly not unreasonable that the God of the Old Testament would say, I am zealous for human beings, and I'm zealous for the position of being your father. But to have that in a paragraph that appears to be saying, I don't want anything that competes with me.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I see how you're coming at that now. I think it's closer to saying something like, you've dismissed my genuine love for a made-up love that doesn't exist, and I find that offensive because I love you.
I think I actually really like that interpretation, and in part, my father was a lawyer, and I got my BA in philosophy. So when I sit and think about these things, I really enjoy those kinds of things.
It's definitely think very cogent. It fits.
It is. So I mean, the way I would look at it is I would say, if I were to just, and they're going to throw out some numbers, again, this is sort of off the cuff, I would say, and there's going to be some bias here, absolutely, but just for me, I'd say, okay, you know what, that is cogent enough that I'd say maybe 35% in my view that maybe that's how it was intended. Now, this is just based on the English. I haven't looked back on the history. You've made a lot of good points that I'm not qualified to address right now. But just based on this, it still seems like that's not as likely. I think it's certainly possible. But that's sort of also where I get into some complaints about defenses of the Bible, where you see a lot of these stretches where you're like, okay, I guess I could see it, and it makes sense. But then it's like, I feel like we have to do that every other sentence. We have to say, well if he meant this.
No, that's more to my point, actually. Okay. Let's say, for instance, something like, there is no singular authorship for the Bible. Mm-hmm. Well, now you've got human beings writing it uninspired, something like that, right? Now, if that's the case, then it's just people wrote stuff. It doesn't have extraordinary value. Okay, so let's look at the opposite of that for critique of literature, and let's say, what if there were a singular authorship? This should be coherent within itself. I mean, Stephen King can do it through long series. Why not a God? So I don't think that's an unreasonable demand of a God. So let's say, I think Christians have an intrinsic problem here that they're obviously denying when they say the Old Testament God is vengeful and angry and freaking hates you, by the way, and wants you dead. Somewhere between 99.99% of the population, he wants them to perish. And then gentle, kind, sweet, loving, baby, sweet in a diaper Jesus says, oh, I agree with all that. And he does say that. Okay, so either Jesus is secretly a horrible, horrible being, and the Old Testament God is a horrible being, and they agree with each other for that reason, or Jesus is not a liar, and the Christians are misunderstanding the Old Testament.
You've got me sold on Christians misunderstanding the Old Testament, so we'll start with that one.
I'm pretty sold on it myself.
So I got a little lost as you were describing that. So are you suggesting that, so it sounds to me like you're suggesting one of two things is true and you've made up your mind, and I was unable to figure out which one it was.
I like to keep it that way. It's more interesting.
You know what? Fair, and more people are going to watch. So I think this is perfect.
Woo-hoo.
So what I wanted to
racking them up, Nick. Thank you.
My pleasure, dude. So speaking of, so it's like you guys are getting so close to monetization. So we gotta have a party for you guys or something. I'm trying to get more subs. But at any rate, so I couldn't tell if you were suggesting that. Well, hey, obviously the Bible should be really consistent thematically from beginning to end.
Only if it's true.
Only if it's true, and well, as specifically, not only if it's true, but if it was written by one entity, either by God directly or by God inspiring others who were basically. So if that's the case, you'd expect one. So now we have to either say that people who, for whatever reason, don't see it that way are either misinterpreting it, or people who don't see it that way, it's because they recognize the truth, which is it was written by multiple flawed people. So it sounds like that's what you were saying, and then I wasn't sure which one of those you landed on, but I would agree with all of those with that dichotomy.
Well, I'll make a faith statement then, and it is a faith statement.
Right.
I mean, I find a lot of arguments persuasive, and because of them, I'm convinced. That doesn't mean that they are proof. I don't think there is such thing as proof per se. Mm-hmm. I think that's a logically unattainable thing to hold to is, oh, there's proof for a thing. So I'll make a faith statement. I believe that in the original works, as most originals we can get, is an overarching theme that repeats so much it's unmistakable. In fact, it's pretty dang boring if you read the Bible all as one piece, and that it is coherent within itself, and it also adheres to strictest classical logic and the known universe, such things as laws of physics. Okay, but that makes me viewed by Christians as being pretty non-Christian.
Well, it would surprise me if they viewed that as being non-Christian. I will say this is actually, James and I have talked about this, and he had DM'd me earlier and asked me to bring this up. This is one of his favorite problems. Have you heard of Hume's problem of induction?
Let's review it.
Thank you, Nick.
No, I'm sorry.
Almost as good as your divine command theory hit.
Yeah, it's popular. I agree we cannot have any absolute knowledge with certainty, and I agree that because of basically the problem of knowledge, of capital T in both cases, the problem of
when we
capital
go get
T,
the
capital
brute
K.
facts.
Yeah, because of that, and because of problems like Hume's problem of induction, I concur. We cannot know anything for certain. I don't think there's something called affirming the consequent, where we take something from that and saying that everything must be faith-based. That's really not true. But
that's also logically fallacious, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I am curious. I'd like to dissect what you said a little bit more, but I do have one question. So it sounds like, unless I misunderstood, it sounds like what you're saying is that you do believe in the Bible as a single piece of literature, and with a theme that is consistent throughout it. I am curious, how would that be difficult for Christians to swallow? Because that does sound to me, at least the position the position that Christians often give to me, at least of certain denominations. There are others that are a little more forgiving, but
okay. So I first of all, I've yet to find a Christian sect that actually doesn't ignore some part of the text. They all do. And they'll call themselves things like, oh, we're a whole Bible church. You're a liar is what you are. Because if you took
full gospel church.
Whole gospel,
you ever
right.
heard that? The full gospel. The whole 15
there's all kinds
feet
of these
gospel.
labels, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're actually not. And here's why. Even down to the quotes from the Christ, things like, I have things to tell you I haven't told you yet. Meat of the word. You were not ready to eat it then. You are not ready to eat it now. And then the story stops. Well, what are you going to do with that? You don't even have the whole story.
He said his followers would do greater things than he did.
Good point. So the story is not ended. You can't have full knowledge of the story. And thereby you're working in pieces and parts. And worse than that, they'll ignore parts that are written in the story if it doesn't fit their idea of how it should work. So you've got dogma within certain sects of Christianity requiring them to not consider parts of the text. And to the people who strictly follow only Paul in the New Testament, I congratulate them because they at least admit it. We're ignoring the rest on purpose. So
right, because after Jesus died, things changed, and only Paul had that personal encounter with Jesus after the death. So Besides, Paul was the apostle to the Gentiles, yada
That's
yada.
exactly it.
Yeah.
Yes. The gospel of the uncircumcision.
Right.
So at least they admit they're ignoring most of it and cherry picking.
As Maudy would say, I am made of questions. But I'll start with one, which is this is something I've heard before, and I've actually heard this from multiple sects, and it can be hard to tease out because many sects will say that they have it. They have the one interpretation of the Bible that is accurate. And I use interpretation which you did not use, and I noticed that, and I think there's a reason. I will get to that in a second, but I think I hope I see where you're going. I think I may, but. And what they'll say is, many denominations will say, well, we're the only one that actually follows the full Bible because the others can't explain or understand this, and they try to do these little workarounds, but we don't do that. So and there are others that say, yeah, we ignore these pieces. The honest ones say, and there are a few, we ignore these pieces, it was hyperbole, you're not really supposed to. So at least they're honest about that. Now, whereas you have
Hyperbolic.
Yeah, thank you. Or I'm not even whatever the word is. My brain is cuckoo right now. But since you don't speak if I heard you correctly earlier, you don't speak Aramaic. You don't you cannot read Aramaic, Hebrew, or Greek. Then that means, first of all, you're going to have the same problem, which is you're doing an interpretation of a text, but you're doing an interpretation of a text. And I'm sure you're aware that specifically in Hebrew, and I think, I look forward to that, but I'll finish this, and I definitely want to hear what you have to say. The missing, like in Hebrew in particular, has, and I think Aramaic does this too, if I recall, but I know Hebrew does. When they wrote it, they would not write vowels, and there were a number of reasons for this, but the vowels were implied, and most languages have a lot of implied things. English has a lot of implied things. If you don't know it's there or how to look for it, you do it. You fill in those gaps without realizing it. But in Hebrew, it was very easy if you lived in the time to fill in what was supposed to be there because you could construct it culturally. But now it's a lot harder, which also, in my view, undermines somewhat the argument that God wanted us to understand this because it was written in a language that literally cannot be really accurately reconstructed after the culture is gone.
Not completely.
Yeah, so you had said, but you did say now that you're not doing that, so I would love to hear your explanation for that.
Okay, so I think we have enough fragments and large pieces to say that the Greek lexicon is probably the best thing we have. Okay, beyond that, I don't count on any given line as giving me a full context. But what I look for is a continuous context that works for all of it. And I believe that's been identified. And I believe that's what I'm following. It causes me to not have to ignore any part of the text to maintain it. Okay?
It sounds like you have a specific one in mind, and it even sounds like it's something that you can actually declare reasonably easily. So if it's
Is there a belief system you hold, or is it just kind of your own interpretation?
That seemed like two different questions.
Well, you said you've gone through and you think you've identified what the truth is. So is that any specific like sect or denomination, or is it just your own interpretation of it?
It's extremely specific. It's not my interpretation. It was shown to me. And it just continues to work, so I continue to use it.
Okay.
And so it sounded like you can actually distill this to a phrase or sentence. I was curious what that was.
I'm not sure I've developed an elevator pitch just that good, but I could probably keep it relatively short.
I would like to hear that if no one else objects.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Gosh. I mean,
and actually, before you start, I just want to say, because the conversation got interesting, we were originally going to stop around now, but we're going to go for 15 more minutes. It's Amy time. Amy time always happens. And so before we move into outros,
15 feet, 15 minutes. It all works.
15 minutes, exactly. But we're going to hand the ball back over to you, Richard. We're going to have 15 minutes of fun conversation.
I appreciate the leniency, actually. But I could talk about this for 30 continuous hours. It wouldn't be enough. Not by a
Oh,
long shot.
we've done about an 11-hour stream before. I don't know if
That's
we're
our
in the
record. I don't know if that's going to
ballpark for
happen
30,
again,
but
but that's right. Do 30 next.
Let me get a little ahead on my sleep, and we'll give it a try. So, I guess in the shortest possible way I can say it. All ancient religions, speaking to a lineage resulting in us, are describing a more evolved human animal, greater in technology, which shared with us around the world when said culture, whichever culture you want to refer to, had 3 extra hours a day because they'd become not hunter-gatherers, and shared with us in somewhat pretty much a fairy tale form things that they are going to act upon this earth in like actual physical reality, which will transform the fairy tales into understandable existent reality, things we already know and can easily understand.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I have two thoughts. Well, again, made of questions, so I have actually many thoughts. I want to go back a step, but I do appreciate you taking the time because that's going to help me sort of frame what we're talking about, and I think that's going to save me asking questions that at this point I think would not be. Hopefully, you never know. Things go over my head all the time. You'll hear me asking the same question again.
It's all about creating useful shorthand, right?
Yep. Have you ever heard of Hume's problem of induction? Oh, sorry.
I don't know that. I'm not a philosopher.
I wanted to get James's goat and make a joke, meta joke about me forgetting.
he's
stuff,
just trying to rattle my chain because I do it to him all the time.
Yeah, he does. I don't even know why I like the dude because he's really a pain in the ass. But at any rate, so
I love you too, Nick.
It sounded like you said that you had a personal experience, either a vision of some kind or some direct experience with God. Is that something that you said, and if so, is that something we can talk about for a minute?
I wouldn't say it's with God because I don't believe God is able to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
However, because God's a set of social ideals, but someone acting within the ideals of God presented an idea to me. I was not a voluntary participant. It was literally forced upon me. In fact, I was an anti-theist who would want no such thing.
Ooh. Oh, that's an unusual one.
Interesting.
Now we're going to have to. Amy, please have him back on. We're going to have to really. He's
always welcome on. He's been very polite and indulging our questions, and yeah.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack, and I'd be very curious about that because it's so rare. It does happen, and atheists,
if I'm wrong, I'd love to know that, but I'm not going to know that from within myself. I'm going to learn that from outside.
There you go. And that's why we talk to people who disagree with us, because hey, it's always good to get a new perspective, to hear new ideas.
Well, so let me. When I've met a lot of people who have, and there was a woman. She was actually a friend of mine for a while, and she had an incident where she was attacked by Satan, and Jesus came, saved her. Now she was. I've heard that claim more often than once. I've heard that more often than once. Now, I have no doubt in my mind she believes this. And I've met many atheists and anti-theists who would say she's delusional, she's this or that, and those claims are completely untenable. Those claims are completely untenable, and they're very dismissive. So I usually start with the assumption and the belief that this is, and I really hate to use my truth because I don't think there is a truth, but it's their truth. They would pass 1,000 lie detector tests and they believe it, and it's informed what they are. And the reality is we don't understand so much of this universe, so I can't sit there and say it did or did not happen. Right. But that does happen to actually a lot of people, and other things happen. That's interesting. It's really interesting when you get into this kind of stuff because different gods have visited different people. I have a buddy of mine who Odin came down and had a chat with him. And he was also an atheist, and then he met Odin. Doesn't do drugs, doesn't do anything that would suggest there's anything wrong with him in any kind of, but this is, and he completely, all of a sudden he was converted. I know a number of polytheists, and they all, for the most part, they all have an experience where, a book flew at them out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the pages opened up, and then and here you go. And there's no real way to argue with or discuss that in terms of their individual experiences, because I can't prove or disprove.
I think there is.
Well, I'd love to get to that. So my overall arching point: people have been abducted by aliens as well, and that's sort of the one I usually go to, which is people have, and they pass lie detectors. Oh, I was abducted, and they've had other witnesses, but we haven't been able to independently verify it. And if that were true, well, the God of Abraham probably does not exist, at least in the classical Christian sense. May in yours, actually, if I'm understanding yours correctly, and I think that's worth noting. But regardless, if somebody is to say, my claim needs to have weight, and this happened, and I know it did, you have to be able to not only make that claim, which is a reasonably easy one to make, but also explain why yours is valid when there are so many others for other gods and for other kinds of experiences, like getting abducted by aliens, that, again, these people believe as strongly as you do, and most of them can't be true. We can't explain them, but they just can't. So why would you think yours is, and why would other people, lend credence to it?
Unrelated comment. If you see a vision of Satan and it scares you, that can't have been Satan.
Because he's a liar and not, is that...
Right, he would not do that to you. He'd be your best buddy. He'd tell you important things that would change your life for the better.
Yep.
And nothing else would actually make sense.
He converted him into a Miami Dolphins fan.
Right, and other evil things.
Oh, right.
So,
oh snap! Gauntlet down.
but yes, I make my argument from information because, in my experience, information is the only evidence that exists to some experience like this. I can say experience A, and you could say infection in the brain. Fine, whatever. But no amount of dysfunction or high function of the brain would allow you to have information that you were not privy to. Okay, that especially if that's falsifiable in reality, if it's coherent within itself, if it suits classical logic at a bare bones minimum, and if it has predictive power, your brain just can't do that. It doesn't have that ability. So just like I think you're a different person than me, Nick, is because you form different sentence structures, you have different background, you have different knowledge than I have. You don't sound like me whatsoever. And that makes me think you're not me. But in like fashion, when I experience something like that, I think it's not me. And I think that's reasonable to conclude.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and I like that argument, and I like the nod to the sort of anti-solipsism, because I think that's a very good point, and it's an important one. But here's another
I'll
thought.
take our time to bash solipsis. Yay.
You know what?
Thank you.
You know what? No, hey, that's all we have in my live chat. If we got rid of solipsists, don't make me tell a solipsist joke either, because I've told that like 16 times, and it's people are more.
I just want you guys to
burnt by
know
that,
that
like-
therapists would say that it's not right to pick on yourself.
I want to know, I want to know, Amy, I want to know why I am so self-defeating and self-hating.
And look,
why am I like that?
Damn it, I just want you to know.
You can make solipsists go away if you just prove them wrong.
Hey, I'm a solipsist and a masochist. That's my problem.
There you go.
Apparently.
When solipsists throw a party, remember, folks, everyone's invited. All right, tip your waitress, and
we're going to be here all week. Try the fillet.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Do her dance.
The observation I would make, and I'm making this not because I'm suggesting it's the case. It's a possibility. I think there are many possibilities, but at a minimum, it is the easiest defeater that I can come up with right off the bat. And I'm sure there are probably specific cases that you've had that wouldn't match this. But I will bet you 90 to 95% of the experience, and again, maybe not all of it, but 90 to 95% of the experience that you have could actually be explained in the brain, and here's why. The the number of people who fall in love online, and they're texting away, and they're having these conversations with someone, and then they meet the person, and well, it's not just catfish though, but or catfish by themselves, right? Because what happens is they read into the text, especially without the verbal and the auditory cues, without the visual cues. It's not what they're seeing isn't what's being written or intended. It's what they want to see, and their brain is imposing that onto what they're reading. So, and then they meet the person, like, this is not the same person I was. And it's the same way too, where somebody will text you and you'll say, hey, listen, don't get angry with me. I'm like, I'm not angry with you. Oh, now you're being snarky. And these kind of things happen all the time because our brain, missing the vital information, fills it in with its best guess.
Certain conversations just are not good for text. I tell people that all the time. Like, this conversation is not going to go well in text because you miss so much.
And I'm a big fan of body language, because if you read jokes like in a courtroom, oh my Lord, they sound way worse, 5 times worse, 1 billion. So you need all that lovely back and forth that we get from eyes and lips, and Ken Hoven's experiments with gravity. And all right, guys, we got like 5 more minutes, and then we're moving into outros. But we have been Skeptic Bible studying on Numbers chapter 23 and 24, and then a bunch of good theological back and forth. We're about to wrap up, but it's been fun.
Well, Nick, I want to do a show with you sometime when you have a minute.
Oh, I'd love to. I'm happy usually to go on streams, and if you've got a channel, great. I have a personal channel we could probably do it on. So
maybe we could trade. Amy's got my email.
Perfect. I will seek that, or you can also drop it in the private. So the where I was going to go with this is that, and I think you've already figured it out, but I want to say it so everyone's heard it. But I saw you nodding your head, so I was like, okay, you know where I'm going with this, which is that let's say you have a particular mode of thought that of how the universe works. Because the other thing I've noticed is people follow whichever God they want, really. And when I say whichever God, I also mean whichever version of the Abrahamic God. If you're a Catholic and you don't like what they're doing, you become a Protestant because this God makes sense to you, or you become so everybody chooses the God.
Or just a cafeteria Catholic.
Yeah, or you do that. So in the end, you love the God you worship because you've actually chosen him based on the values you already have. Right. So if you have certain values and a certain way that you look at the universe, and then if your brain, for whatever reason, has decided to mess with you and give you this message, and it's going to fit with how, even if it's just subconsciously, you want to see the universe, or how it's going to make sense to you. Or and like I said, this is one of a million. It could also be something else did happen and it was your brain interpreting it. But I think you get the gist of where I'm going with this. And then when you look at the Bible, if that was how you already saw things, you will impose that on how you view the Bible. And again, you've seen this
get the gist of where you're going.
In every denomination. Yeah, the same thing happens with every denomination. So, so that's where I'm headed with this. So what are your thoughts?
Humans do that. But there are ways to defeat your doing that. And loosely, it's forensic science. That's how you defeat those kinds of problems. So, you look for the simplest explanation that assumes the least, that has the most explanatory power, that creates more answers than it does create questions. You know the whole line of it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You follow those things. Now, although you're absolutely true in reality, talking about human nature as you just did, I set out to immediately prove this wrong. That the idea must be wrong, that the entire context must be wrong. And frankly, I'd have much rather adopted an idea like when this happened at age 42, that buxom blondes, 2/3 my age, found a dad body hot. I'd much rather have had that actually than the Bible. Okay.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah, that's what I would have liked to have happened. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been an excellent thing for me to believe in the mode of life that I
Everything
was
looked
in.
better in black and white.
And a good new religion. You probably would have had a lot of followers with that one. But
You know, that's the funny thing about this. What this indicates is the destruction of all religion.
Sounds good to me.
So that's a bad way to start a cult, by the way.
We're on board.
yeah, it is. Well, it depends. If you talk to theists, that's actually exactly how atheists started their cult. But
it's not atheism.
yeah, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it would be.
Besides, that's been done. That's old hat now. Normalize atheism. I
That's
believe
right.
that angels. I believe angels are atheists. By the way, by necessity. They don't believe in magical powers, and they don't believe in the quad omni thing either. So I think most of you guys do quite well in heaven, actually. But I don't know that I'm really addressing what you'd really said. I don't think we really have time to be honest.
I don't think we're going
And that's
to.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's a
Actually,
good place
on
to wrap
that
up.
note, we're going to put a bow on tonight and just say to be continued, many more awesome conversations. We are moving into our outros and then heading
Unleash
to
them.
Discord. That's
Unleash
right.
the
We
mimes.
are bringing in the mimes. Richard, you are actually starting us off tonight because you were the last one to join us. Bringing in the super straight mimes. Woohoo! Richard, we have been Skeptic Bible studying on Numbers chapters 23 and 24. We're a third way through the fourth book of the Bible, but then we had a bunch of fun theological back and forth and conversation. So I hope you had a fun time. And what are your final thoughts?
You have a really entertaining channel here that's fairly well organized. I liked it a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
Send in so much hearts.
That was it.
That was it. Oh, well, thank you so
Thanks,
very
Richard.
much, Richard. And I'm so glad you came on tonight and to many more conversations. And all right, we're moving right down the list. Flum, we have been Skeptic Bible studying on chapter 23 and 24 of Numbers, along with some good theological conversation. I hope you had a good time. And what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, great show, Amy. I really liked that, and yeah, just a great show. But the whole thing with the omni properties, William Lane Craig changed it to maximal properties.
Maximal.
Yes, not
Maxim
omni.
fries.
Yeah, maxi fries. That's right.
Woohoo! Thank you so very much, Flum. Woohoo! And all right, we're going to keep on moving right down the list.
Thank you, Flum.
Nick, we have been Skeptic
about
Bible
Hume again.
studying.
I was going to.
I knew it was coming.
That's like, was it Sal's? I forget what they say you have to bring up. I forget what theorem every time where you're not having a conversation about God. Someone's, I forget something.
The second
But
law of
Nick,
thermodynamics, yeah.
and Leo
All the
would
hits.
be able to. But all the hits, Nick, we have been Skeptic Bible studying on Numbers chapters 23, 24, along with some theological back and forth. Hope you had a good time. And what are your final thoughts?
That was probably one of the best discussions I've had on any theological topic in quite some time. So I really thoroughly enjoyed that. So appreciate Richard
good.
coming on.
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity to have that discussion. So thank you. I think that was awesome. I have a personal channel. I haven't added a lot of content to it, but there's still some good content. Also, introduction to logic and stuff like that on my channel. But if you're really looking for me and my content, my channel is In Time, and it was graciously mentioned and plugged by Amy repeatedly earlier on. So thank
Just
you.
in time.
Yeah.
And but we news, politics, and culture. You will find us discussing usually whatever is going on in the news, but also what's going on in culture, especially in the U.S. But we just had a really good discussion on the Dave Chappelle. All that's going on with that. We've got actually the definition of atheism. Dr. John Shook, Rutgers University philosophy professor, is going to be coming on to discuss with us the definition of atheism. Theists are constantly sitting there going, you have to define it this way, or this is how. So we're going to try to, I don't know, we're going to settle it, but we're going to sit and say, okay, this is what's happening in the communities in terms of these discussions.
Dr. Hovind do a dissertation on whale phallic.
Yeah.
From his thesis on that.
Well, we don't plan on including any evidence from Hovind. I know we do have to cut some material. And then anyways, we usually do about 2 or 3 shows a week, and on various, and we also have every Friday night a call-in show. People can come in and we can just hang and talk about any topic. So I hope you guys will check that out. It was shown up there earlier, and it's been dropped a few times, and that's what you'll find me doing when I'm not coming in here and trolling James.
Appreciate you, Nick.
Thank
You too,
so
sir.
very much, Nick.
Before you guys close it, I want to do a sanity dipstick, which is something I enjoy doing all the time to myself to make sure I haven't lost it yet. Nick, you do have both a Pilot G2 red pen and a Bic standard stick red pen within reach, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Think with your dips, Jimmy.
Listen, I'm glad.
Right,
I thought he was testing my sanity. I was just like, we're gonna have a problem real quick, but fortunately, that was not the case.
Also,
Nick, not
apparently,
the $600 jacket. Even no, you didn't.
I know. Well, that's only on my streams. I have to wear that. That's like, yeah.
If Oz busts your balls about it, you'll put it on. But
I do. That's true. He really does. He successfully shames me into putting it on. He's done that several times now.
Nick, how can we get the news properly if we are not going to have a 600?
Oh, dear Lord. That
Also,
was a mistake.
Apparently, it was Gödel's incompleteness theorem. So there's an inside joke somewhere with some creationist somewhere.
No.
It's so funny. Moving to James W. handing
Don't do it,
the
Amy.
keys.
You handed me something, but it wasn't keys.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you gotta use the fist fruits properly.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, what can I say to that? Yeah, use your fist fruits properly. Amy lost your squeegee ball for the humor icon for our show. But anyway, more on that next time. Thanks, guys, for coming along with us for the Bible study. Balaam. He made some sacrifices. He made some speeches. He didn't make a lot of sense, though. But thankfully, we had some people make some sense after the show. And thanks, guys. Thank you, Flum. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, Richard, for coming on and bringing the heavy-hitting theological discussions, which is what we like to promote around here. We do like to have some serious philosophical and theological discussions. So thanks, guys. And thank you to Hume.
Oh, my man. Oh, I made my night.
Thanks, Hume.
Woo-hoo!
Gives us tons of great content.
That's right. Thank you so very much, James, and I hope you all had a fun time on this episode of Skeptic Bible Study. Balaam's sacrifice.
All the bullets.
Not Sandra Bullock.
All of them.
All of them.
All your bullets are belong to God.
Where tonight, Balaam sacrificed many an animal, talked to God, then gave some awesome speeches, as all superheroes do. I want to thank my co-host, James W. with our guests, Nick, Flum, and Richard, along with our awesome mods who make this stream so great, the lovely people in chat, and viewers like you. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, follow, or subscribe, and then hit that bell icon so you can see our premieres and join our live streams. And hey, why not leave a comment after the video's done? Afterwards, we will be heading to the Skeptic and Ranting Discord community, the link of which is in the description below. Finally, if you'd like to help us make even more fun content, we offer some unique perks for your support. Oh, baby. Remember, shake
More
weights.
solipsism.
More solipsism. Wait, do I have to pay for this burger if I'm selling myself the burger? At patreon.com/Amy Newman. I'm Amy Newman, and we will see you all on the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone. Mwah. Oh, and Rachel Holland.
Got the old one there, Newman.